Steve, if this is between me and you, we at least you know my situation with the Munatones. I actually retired in 2009 after 13 years on the committee, and you took over for me. I felt my job was done. My international politicking was finished, but that wasn't the case.
Yes. But you also were the refereeing in 2008 in Beijing, 2012 in London, and 2016 in Rio.
Yes, this would have been my fourth Olympics out there on the water with these guys, and I'm thrilled to say that we have a heck of a team ready to go. I know that our head referees in both cases are going to be doing the job, and we have not only the best from international open water technical officials, but some of the very best from Japan. And you know that from all your time in Japan. These people are very, very good. They're precise.
Yeah. And, I don't mean to be sexist here, but I've heard and I've seen firsthand, it is so much more difficult to referee a women's race than a men's race.
Well, that's generally been the attitude of most referees and officials around the world. And I can't answer as to why that is. Although I must say at our latest event, the FINA trials that we had, international trials in Setúbal in Portugal, where we selected the last half of this group, we really did not have, our women were incredibly well behaved. And you would think in a selection meet, we might see some issues, but we did not. No, they were very happy to be racing after all this time off.
Absolutely. These athletes, I know, if you're a sprinter, it's one thing. When you're training for a 10,000 meter race and you're hit with COVID, that must have been tough, really tough.
Oh, definitely. I mean, all of us have seen the videos from around the world for the last year and a half, people tying themselves up to little backyard pools and swimming in, wherever they can find any kind of water at all. And I think for that reason alone, both the qualifying race in Portugal and today and tomorrow's marathon swims in Tokyo, you're going to see the best of the best attitudes, the best effort, the absolute gratitude that these athletes are having to FINA, to the IOC, to the wonderful people of Tokyo to be able to stage this event as safely as they have put it on to date.
Yeah. And what do you know of the conditions today?
Well, I did
now
get
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
AM.
Oh yeah. It's bright and early there, and it is a little cloudy and overcast, so maybe not quite as hot as it could be. The sun came up around 5 a.m. their time, and the water temperature is 29.5 Celsius.
Okay, about 85 Fahrenheit for the Americans who are unfamiliar with Celsius.
And as you know, and most of us in the FINA rules and regulations group know that 31 is our limit. So we see 29.5. It's kind of like, okay, we can take a breath, but we also know we have 2 hours of sun and heat and humidity to come. So it's been a concern since this site was named. And I say that the Japanese have left no stone unturned trying to work with the pool, the water quality, not in the pool, but in the bay itself.
Yeah. And I'm going to explain a little bit about Tokyo Bay. Now, Tokyo is almost in the center, sits on the seaboard of Japan. So if you're an American, think of Washington, D.C. It just sort of sits here. It borders a huge bay. Now, that bay over the decades and centuries has been filled in with a lot of landfill. You see, the Rainbow Bridge behind us, and a lot of that you see is landfill. The Japanese had literally taken down mountains and made little islands where they have, everything from warehouses to apartment buildings to airport. And so what they did essentially is block the natural ebb and flow of the water in Odaiba Marine Park, which is on the inside, the very most inside park of Tokyo Bay. So there's not a lot of tidal flow there. There's certainly not much wind at all. So you're not going to have the waves, the wind, the typical things that you might think of open water might entail. So no wind to speak of, no waves, no currents, no tides. And so it's almost like a giant pool, if you will.
Yes, it is certainly going to be different than what we saw in Rio. Rio at Copacabana Beach, as many people will recall, the first day, the women's race, we had those gentle swells that were just beautiful. And it was true open water. And there were all these rumors about, oh, it's going to be so polluted. Oh, you can, and then all the stuff they were showing us, at least in the North American media. And then when we got down to Rio, Copacabana was as beautiful as I've ever seen it. And there are thousands of people swimming there every day. I'm like, this is not what the media was telling us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I think this bay in Tokyo, it does have a lot of man-made structures within it. But, the idea that they're doing everything, they even produced a bubbling machine, like they're bubbling up water so that it stays cool. And they put screens down, multi-million dollars on this venue alone, Stephen. And when you think about all they've put into it, they put these screens down. For the last 3 years, they've been working very closely with our FINA technical committee and commission, our medical committee, trying to make sure that they were so committed because of just the beauty of this site. As they planned the Olympics, they talk about the infinity symbol in Japan being very important. It's like an 8 on its side. And the X of that infinity symbol is right where the open water, right where Mike Tirico is for NBC every night, right where you see those big rings every night on NBC television, because they had the old and the new, and that's how they sold it on us, even before they got the bid. And I just tip my hat to the Japanese folks that have pulled this off.
Yeah. Now, this is the same location that the triathlon was held, correct? At least the swim portion.
And the new event, the triathlon relay.
Yeah. Okay. Will they be going off of the same starting pontoon?
Yes, as I understand it, that is, we generally do share a lot with triathlon. A brief history, our very first open water Olympic swim in Beijing was in the rowing basin. And that was very difficult because FINA, as an international governing body, came in as the third international federation, sporting federation. First, there's the rowing group, and then they considered the upstart canoe and kayak group to be the, kind of like, that's right, they don't have the history, 100 years that rowing. And then swimming came in, and they're like, what? So we had a tough time in that venue, just getting warm-up time. And then the succeeding Olympic Games, starting with London, we had a great sense of rapport with the International Triathlon Federation. And they've been very easy to work with. And even this year with them having, a little bit more time with the relay event, but I have to say, we're pretty good sharing with them.
Yeah, that's great. And I really like I don't know what you call it, carpet or turf, that blue section that it has the athletes, they walk down and they're introduced to the TV audience. I was going to say the crowd, but obviously the crowd's not there.
Right.
And our executive producer just put up, if they can go back, the swim course, there it is. And I look at this swim course and you say to myself, oh my gosh, it's so simple. However, it's tough. 25 people trying to go around those buoys at the same time.
It's a challenge. It is a challenge. And that's where the action, always seems to take place. And we're doing 6 loops of this course. So you're looking at, basically 4 turns, 6 times. You got 23, 24 different times where you're coming in and understand it's not like your open water mermaid swim down the beach. This is the Olympic medals are on the line. And some of the very most competitive athletes in the world are distance swimmers. And they will be focused on each of those buoys. And you can imagine having 25 at this level do all they do to come in. So yeah, the turns will be interesting to watch.
Wow. Sid, you said 6 loops. Are we going 6 or 7?
Oh, did I say 6? I think you're right. I was thinking we had.
No, I know you had 6 in the Serpentine in London in 2012.
Yeah, right. If you pull up the other chart, you're right. I think we have even. I can pull mine up, or
There we go.
7.
Okay,
You're
7.
right. 7. Oh my gosh, you're right. So we're talking, 7 times for 28, 27 at least times you're coming in there. So yeah, 1,435 meters. So you go around that and you still haven't completed the 1,500.
Right. And then you know what? When I see this course and I look at the start and finish are at the bottom right. However, they're going counterclockwise. So that means the short end of the rectangle will be the most critical part of the race. I mean, they're going to be flying about that time, and they're going to have to do 2 sharp 90-degree turns. That's going to be something to see.
It really is. It wasn't the ideal plan, 3 years ago when we were working with them, and yet it is such a beautiful venue. If you were able to have a crowd, that last 552 meters, or each time they would come around, you can see from the boardwalk, you can see from the condos and the hotels and the commercial buildings that are lining that area of Odaiba. It was really built so that we could have tens of thousands of spectators enjoy the race today.
Yeah. On the start of the race, there's 4 points in the 4 turn buoys. Are they going to go on the left or right side of that first turn buoy? Do they just? It looks to me on the map that they just go. The starting pontoon is on the left side of the bottom right buoy.
Correct. That intermediate gate and that first buoy don't count at all on the first length.
Got it.
When you dive in, they will dive in and they will swim in that light blue, kind of straight to that far top right turn buoy, and then make their left hand.
Wow. Knowing what you know, what is that pace? They're going to shoot the gun off. What is that pace for the first 200 or so meters?
It really depends on the swimmer. I think depends on the number you draw, and depends on your mental prep and what your coach is asking you to do. In 7 loops, there's going to be plenty of elite athletes that just say, okay, you guys go ahead. I'm not even going to bother racing you to the first buoy. I'm going to set myself up here at the back or the side of the pack, and I'm going to do the first loop or so, just not let anybody get away. Of course, in Rio, we did have an effort at a breakaway right from the get-go with the Australian.
Right. Yeah, Jared Port.
Jared. And he almost pulled it off. He got it down for, somewhere around 90% of the race, it seems like. But that last K was really hurtful.
Right. He had 19 million Australians on the edge of their seat for about an hour and 40 minutes.
So it's not out of the question that somebody might say, hey, I can do that and I can hang on. I think the last time I remember seeing it done successfully was the great Dutch swimmer Edith
Van Dijk,
who swam in the Banana Docks in London 2000. We had a World Cup San Grietham held, and she took off, and I was like, boy, there's no way she's doing this whole race on her own. And the girls closed on her, but never beat her. They got within about 200 meters at the end. And I was thinking with Port last time, that might happen. And then again, it's a risk, because certainly for those of you not as interested or don't understand, it's much easier to travel in a pack in the water, especially.
Yes. Yeah, we talk about drafting so much. And anybody who's a competitive swimmer, you know, if your coach tells you to go 10 200s and you're 5 seconds apart and you're third or fourth in the lane, you're just sailing, especially if you don't go 5 seconds apart, you go 2 seconds apart.
You know, exactly that. And that's where we really learned a lot in those crowded AAU USA swimming programs. Like, oh, this is good. And it was even in the pool, though. We saw some great drafting last week, you know, in the highlights. And I know, talking to Rowdy, watching him bring that out, it certainly made a difference in a couple of those races.
Yeah. And the most famous race was
The 400
Jason Hlezak. Jason Hlezak, 2008.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was pretty special. You know, I mean, still, when you look at the great relay splits that guys like Caleb Dressel laid down this week, you know, people are going 46.5 to 46.9. They're going, oh my God, it's incredible. Hlezak, you know, 13 years ago goes 46.1. And it was, you know, I mean, it was one of those breakthrough performances. And those types of things happen to athletes, not just in 100, but they can happen in an event like this. There could be a young lady today who maybe has never won a major international race, get out there and get on the podium or even win the thing. And that's the beautiful thing I know you understand, but about open water, this event, there are 25 entrants. If you had to put your money and gamble, and I know around the world people are gambling on this event, it's very difficult. You can pick 2 or 3 of favorites, but to actually pick the whole podium, because you could be the 18th or 22nd seeded athlete and still have a very good chance to get a podium performance.
Absolutely. Well, even if you consider back in the World Championships, where the first 10 athletes were selected in South Korea, first person, Zinzine, if I mispronounce her name, I apologize, was first. Sharon van Rooyendaal was 10th. Yeah, there she is, Zinzine. There was 3.8 seconds between first and 10th.
That's incredible.
You know, in a nearly 2-hour race.
Unbelievable. It is. And you know, we never really, when we first dreamed of getting into the Olympics and going even further back, because, you know, our good friend Penny Dean had a lot to do with getting open water swimming, marathon swimming, worldwide attention. When she broke the English Channel record as a woman back in 1980, 78
or so.
78. And she became the fastest person ever. And at that time, you and I were breaking into the swimming coaching world and finding our way and looking up to her. Certainly her passion was to have a 25K event in the Olympic Games. And we worked first at hard to try and make that happen. And it received a lot of pushback from the IOC. Yeah. They're like, there's no way we're putting a 5-hour swim race in, you know, come back to us later. And that's when we worked with, you know, the International Triathlon Group, and we worked with other, you know, we say, hey, well, you know, we could probably get about a 2-hour race. And what if we get this 10K? And then we had to go 10Ks around the world to get them in. And I really appreciate what Penny Dean did to make this happen, because, you know, without her, it's not the race that she imagined. You know, she's like point to point. Hey, we'll swim from Dover over across to Calais, and that's my race. I was like, and the most famous open water race in the world still to date, of course, is the English Channel. But what these athletes are doing, and I do have an interesting tidbit, Steve, because you know, one of the events for the Los Angeles Olympics that we'd really like to get in and add, you know, add another open water event besides the 10K marathon, Olympic marathon, if we could get the relay in. So
that would be great.
Now at our World Championships, we have had the 5K relay now, great success, great excitement. And in Portugal, you know, Hussein Al-Masalam, our brand new president of FINA, he sat with us at dinner, the commission and the committee, and he talked to us, and he brought up a great idea. He said, what do you think if instead of a 5K relay, what if we did a 6K relay? And I was like, brilliant, 1,500 per person. Then from a marketing point of view, even though you're comparing apples to oranges, you could still have, you know, somebody like Haley Anderson. And here's her 1500 time in the pool where she got third at US Olympic trials or whatever it was. And here she is on her split in the Olympics here time. And I think bringing over a lot of those pool swimmers. Can you imagine Katie Ledecky on the USA relay?
And Bobby Fink, don't.
Bobby Fink. Oh my gosh. Those races he had were so inspiring, and absolutely we'd love, I mean, as Americans, we'd love to get Bobby involved in open water at some point. And I think that's what, you know, the president, so I understand we're moving towards that. We may switch up this 5K relay eventually to a 6K, and we may even get a chance to try that in the not too distant future. I understand there are some exciting things in the work that the FINA Bureau is going to be looking at, you know, in the very near future. And as hard as it's been coming out of COVID, and for a lot of these athletes to do everything that they've done just to stay in shape, they just haven't had that many competitions. You know, around the world, we've had a lot of our World Cup events, a lot of our ultra marathons, just because of COVID and because of lack of funds, just have to postpone or cancel completely. And we still have a few more that are on our schedule for this year, but we just don't know if we're going to get to them all. So I think that the open water swimmers and coaches of the world are going to be very happy with some of the developments that this new FINA regime of governance is starting to do. They're trying to pull everything together, thinking athletes first. And I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, we've had so many heroes in our sport. I mean, you know, everybody from Martin van der Weijden. I mean, the only person who has recovered from cancer, leukemia, and won a gold medal in Olympic history. I mean, the great Larissa Ilchenko, who came back from, I mean, she'd always be, she was the original Bobby Fink.
Well, there's no doubt she was one of the smartest open water swimmers. If I was looking for a business partner, she'd be somebody I'd ask. I'd say, because she would always place herself in a position to win. And she would rarely be winning unless it was the last 300, 400, 500 meters of any race. And boy, what a phenomenal athlete and just such a smart racer she was. I don't think I ever saw her lose a 10K. I think every time I saw her, she found a way to win.
Yeah, no, she pulled it out every single time. She was money, clutch. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, and that same year, you know, when you were scrambling and getting the Olympic rowing basin set, there was a very famous swimmer, you know, an amputee, Natalie du Toit of South Africa. Unbelievable. Amputee finaling in an Olympic final.
You know, just to make it to the Olympics at that level. Yeah, you're right. She was an inspiration from South Africa. And I remember talking to Natalie, and she never thought of herself as disabled. I mean, she had, you know, her leg was amputated, just below the knee, I think, or maybe just above it. But it was, hey, I got two good arms. I can swim. There's nothing wrong with me kind of attitude. And that's just phenomenal. I mean, you know, I do appreciate that. And now that the U.S. Olympic Committee has become the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee, you know, that I think it's great to see so much more attention being looked at the Paralympic Games that are going to follow us up here in Tokyo. And I know even in the advertising in the U.S., I still get tears in my eyes when I see the Long story and I see Mrs. Long. She said, yeah, but it's going to be fantastic. I go, oh man, it is great. That, you know, that whole story of these athletes that can overcome anything. And certainly Open Water's proud to have our representatives.
Now, the athletes are already at the venue. They had to wake up really, really early. I don't think there's any Olympic event that has started as early as the Olympic marathon swimming event. And if you're watching TV, Sid and I are actually watching the live Japanese feed. And and they already have the swimmers in getting in position. Their boats are in position. Can you see the venue?
I don't have it yet. I'm going to refresh over here,
Okay.
but let's see.
They were going to go live at 6:25 a.m.
Okay.
And
Are you seeing the swimmers there, Steve, on your screen?
I'm seeing a start list, and it's sort of caught in a loop. But anyway, they have, I mean, Sharon van Rooyendaal of the Netherlands, Yumi Kita of Japan. Another girl, I didn't know of her. She's a young woman, Anastasia from Russia. She finaled in the 800 meters. She finaled in the 50 of the Olympics. She's in there. Leonie Beck, one of the two Germans. Michelle Weber of South Africa, her second Olympic. Of Australia. She's 27, but she's been traveling. She's gone to South Africa. She's gone to Europe. She's really trying to prepare herself. Angelica Andre of Portugal. Laura Grandjean of France. Another potential dark horse there. She got fourth, I believe, in the qualifier.
Right. And just getting in is a place, but you're right. There's a lot of pool speed, a lot of youngsters coming along, a lot of new faces. I think of Ashley Twitchell and Haley Anderson. These are like the grand dames, the USA entrants. These ladies are both in their 30s. They've been around. They're unbelievably fit. They were both finalists in the 800, 1500, looking to make the pool team a month ago. So they've still got great speed. And, the American pool trials are no slouch meat, but I'm looking at my screen. I've got, it says live with a couple exclamation points, and it's a still picture. So
yeah, I'm actually going to go over to the NBC feed.
Okay.
And they somewhere they should have the live feed for swimming. Here we go. I don't want to miss a moment of this.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't want to miss any of it either. And I know for those of you at home, right, you can watch it on the app. Like that's probably the best way, right, to go to your either, is it on the Peacock or just the NBC Sports app?
I'll just go to the NBC. I see right now the women's 10K is just, it's initializing. I got a feeling getting everybody awake and get up at 3 a.m, correct? To get over there?
Oh, right. Yeah, no, it's an early day in Tokyo, no doubt. So
the land of the rising sun could be no more true for the marathon swimmers.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, we got
yeah. So far, nothing is being. I hope it isn't like the triathlon start, which.
Oh my gosh.
Where they had the what do you call it? The boat that was in the way of the men's start.
Right. That was not good. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Now, I'm getting pictures from people that are there, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But no movement yet on our screen.
Yes, I will
get this one. Should be getting ready
No,
to
I'm connected to our Hawks VPN, which is how we're trying to get the local feed. And again, we're trying to get the local feed so there'll be no interruptions on our side.
right.
Yeah, well, they're lining up on the dock right now.
Okay.
And I don't see anything. I'm going to try to refresh my screen.
I'm on the yeah, I'm trying to pick it up here on the NBC Tokyo 2020 sports app. It says live women's swimming open water.
Yeah.
It's telling me that I have some type of authentication error, so I can't really.
Yeah. Well, I know our executive team, they're watching it right now. If Quinn Fitzgerald, they're off. Okay, I see them now. They're off. We got somebody in the middle. I'm not quite sure who that is. Do you have your start list in front of you? There's 3 girls in the mid pack that are just taking off. They've got the race. They're off about 75 yards, I would assume, from the start. And like you called it, Sid, there are some swimmers who just said, hey, you know what, you guys go for it. And oh yeah, they're swimming really, really gently.
Oh yeah.
I see Ashley Twitchell swimming about half of her speed. See, Anna Lee's actually, they shot the gun and she waited.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've got him here now. I can see that number 25. Yeah. Okay, you guys go ahead.
That was Ashley. Oh no,
yeah,
that was Haley. Haley.
I can see Haley. And she's like,
Yeah.
you know what? I don't really want to get involved in this time. I'm just going to stand. I'm pretty sure this is Haley's last race. It's like, I'll
Right.
just stand. Now you can see how the pack is.
Yeah.
3 packs. Well, it's 3 separate lines. And I think interestingly enough, Steve, I was watching that triathlon swim, and their swimmers are of such different levels. They really got spread out fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, a couple of these girls, let's see, that's the German cap. Yep.
There are 2 German girls in the top 5 with Ashley Twitchell on the outside, the American. See Karina Lee in the second level back. Yeah, they're taking it easy. I think with the sun coming up, the glare, water temperature at 29.5 Celsius, 85 Fahrenheit. Yeah, they're going to take their time, which is, Sid, generally the women don't take their time. Generally, the women are going for it.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Oftentimes they'll go faster in the beginning than the men would. We can see one big pack. Everybody's tight. 2 minutes and 35 seconds in. Okay.
Yeah. Now, Sid, if you're a swimmer, do you want to be on the absolute inside on that turn buoy, or you want to swing wide or somewhere in the middle?
So many coaches teach them to be in. You got to be the first one closest to the turn buoy, and I've just seen them get hammered so much. I think early in the race, the preference is, just stay with the pack. I preferred to have my swimmers be more on the outside, even if they're swimming a little bit more, than get nicked up. But again, it's a matter of personal preference. If it's just you and one other person and you're coming down, say you or 2 or 3 athletes, and you're coming down to the last turn, the last couple of turns, yeah, you want to get on that inside. You want to be inside so you can make that turn and have a closer shot to the finish line or to the next buoy. But this early in the race,
you see, they're stretching it out now. They've gone this long. That's number 13. Leona Beck, again, she could easily win this race. And next to her, I can't see that cap. I'm not familiar with that cap.
let me see.
But yeah, they picked up the pace from that first buoy turn. The yellow buoys that you see, They're just marker buoys. You can go on either side of them. It's the red corner buoys that you have to keep on your left side.
Right. That is correct. Yeah, they could actually swim on either side of those. And, you know, when we're looking for any type of, you know, place where they're going to make a change, sometimes they do. They'll use those buoys to kind of, okay, here's where I'm going to kick in. It's still a little early. And like you said, everybody's staying together for now. The difference I was getting to between triathlon and swimming is all of these athletes can probably swim an 800 within 30 seconds of each other. Yeah. But in the international triathlon, those athletes, 800 are probably 2.5, 3 minutes apart.
Yep. Yeah.
Because there's different levels of swimmers. And so our swimmers here, you can see them. That's
so Sid, explain to the group. We need 2 officials boats in white. Now, where would the head referee be? Would he be on the inside or the outside boat?
Generally, the head referee takes the outside position unless he prefers to have the inside. And you always give them choice. In Portugal, it was the inside. That may be a ROC hat that you saw there, right? Yeah. It's the inside that doesn't have any break. So it is a Russian Olympic Committee athlete, number 12, that's out there. Steve.
That's Anastasia.
Okay. Okay. And
she was the one who just did the 800 and 1500 final. So she's got a lot of miles under her just in Tokyo alone.
Right. Now, if anyone's watching the same feed we are and you see that high shot, that was beautiful, either from a drone or a camera. And you could tell, you know, that all the leaders are basically, you know, you got 2 leaders, then you got 4 in the next line, 4 in the line after that, 4 in the line after that, then a group of 3, 2 more hanging on. So it's almost like that pyramid shape that you'll see, you know, with the geese flying, very similar.
This, you know, in the beginning, I mean, 6 minutes on, and they've gone all kinds of strategies so far. Really slow, picked it up one after another. Now they're in a pyramid shape. Now they look like, you know, now we have, that's Haley Anderson just in the back, you know, taking her time, checking things out. She knows there's plenty of time, another hour and 45 minutes before, you know, she needs to really hit the wall first.
Right. So one of the things we did compared to Rio is we cut down on the number of paddlers and canoers. Okay. They're very important, but it seemed like if you look back at those photos and look at the footage, it just got too many people. Here's a shot here on our own page that Quinn just put up, and that's what it looks like in the first 20 meters or so. You've got everybody just looking, how do I get ahead of the next? But you want to have some clear water. You want to stay fairly relaxed. Like, you want to swim fast. It's what a coach teaches in a 200 free. The first 50 is easy speed. It's not slow. You have to be fast, but you don't want to kill the legs. Well, it's the same thing here for the first 2 or 3K. You want to be fast. You want to be with the group. You don't want to give up the lead group, but you sure don't want to kill your legs. And what I like about this is I think that it's like the first round of a 15 boxing match. They're just sort of feeling each other out. You know, that they'll throw a jab, throw an uppercut, just to see what their opponents are going to do. Yeah. Oh man, I love these sky high views, and then they zoom in. Coming up to the 745 meter mark, they're 8 minutes and 25 seconds in at this point. And if you have the shot we have, you see the boats. There one boat on the outside is what we call referee 1. That's Fernando Turilli right now. He's actually subbing for me. That's where I'm supposed to be right now on that boat. He's from Argentina, great swimmer in his own right, good family man, great contributor to our committee. And then he'd be on the outside, and then the head referee would be on the inside at this juncture. And again, there's one of those. They came up with these markers because they wanted the high, and then they wanted it to be around. And It was very interesting describing how we wanted these buoys made, but the Japanese came through. They did everything we asked and then some. They really did. They're fantastic hosts.
Yeah. So just so people understand, you've got referees on either of those left and right. The referees can call or can give warning whistles. They can give a yellow card and they can give a red card at any point in the race, correct?
That is correct. You do not have to get a yellow card to be ejected from the race, much like soccer. 2 yellow cards do equal a red. So a yellow card would be what we'd call more of a minor infraction, maybe swimming over the legs, detaining. A red card would be turn around and punch somebody. Hey, that's exactly what a red card is for. You're not allowed. It's unheard of. It's just not allowed. You don't get a yellow card for any kind of intentional effort like that.
Yeah. And what I love about this shot here is how smoothly these women are swimming. I mean, they're looking ahead, but when we call it in the sport, it's so flawless. It's so smooth. It's built within their stroke.
Absolutely. Their timing and tempo. A lot of coaches go to how many strokes per minute, that you're holding. And coaches will say, hey, for the first 2 or 3K, I don't want you going over this number. When you try to make your move, you can pick it up a little bit. But generally, most of the athletes will keep that same stroke per minute tempo. This is what I use, and it works for me until the last 400 or 500 meter sprint. So we
love all the data that the Japanese are providing. Lap 1 of 7, they've gone 0.88 kilometers. They're 11 minutes and 5 seconds in the race.
Anderson, 3rd from Canada.
Yeah.
Olympic Committee Russia is in 4th, 5th. There's 𝐒𝐭𝐞𝐯. She's right there. Only 3.5 seconds off. Ashley Twitchell, 9th, 5.9 seconds off. This is great work by Omega right here, because we can see in the chips that are in their timing devices on their wrists, when they go close to that tent, you see near the buoy where they have looks like a little pup tent, that white triangle. There's an Omega sensor in there, and the guys from Omega, there's the tent off to the right. It's a red tent with white on the ends. That's just giving us great data. And there's Abdul Abdulman from Oman. He is the head referee of the women's race. Behind him on the head ref boat, John West from New Zealand, who has been a head ref before, is backing up Abdul. And it's good often when the head referee has someone with him with just as much or more experience, so that he can bounce things off of them. Or, when you think of a 2-hour race, you have to have your eyes and head focused at all times on those athletes. Even if you have to pick up the board to write a number, you don't want to turn away. So it's always good to have that 2-man team of referees.
Yeah. Now, Leona Beck, the leader right now from Germany, relatively speaking, she has less experience, and certainly someone like Ana Marcela Cunha of Brazil, Haley Anderson of the United States, or Rachel Bruni of Italy. Do you think what could she be thinking right now?
I would guess she's probably thinking much along the way that Chip Peterson thought the first time he swam an open water race and won the 10K. Well, he swam the 5K and then swam the 10K a day or two later in Montreal back in 2005, I think it was, 6, somewhere in there. Yeah. It was right when our head Olympic coach, Catherine Case now, was making her debut as his coach. She brought him up there and we swam in the rowing basin in Montreal. A novice swimmer like Beck, like Peterson was at that day, has an advantage in that they don't know what they don't know. That it's okay to just kind of be this naive, well, why not? Why can't I do this? Why can't I sprint from here? And I think what Chip did that day, and what we could see from one of these great pool swimmers, is the same type of kick that comes at a place where we don't really expect it.
Yeah. And I see their arms going, and they're not really pushing it right now. I see most of them doing two to it looks like a 2 beat kick in most cases. There might be a few 4 beat kicks in there, but they're saving their legs. And we're coming up right now to a feeding station. Do you think all the women are going to feed on the first loop?
With 7 times through in this heat, yes, I would. I'd have my athlete feed for sure. I'd say, a lot of them will put those little gel packs or a goo or something in the back of their suit or have it, but nothing like hydration on a hot Japanese day like today.
Right.
There's Leonie Beck, number 13, and
okay,
she's still leading the way.
Yeah, the gray boat, the black boat that's in front, is that just a media boat, or
Yes, that's the media
what
boat.
their role is?
Probably that captain's one of the most important guys out there, because we want the media to be able to give us these great shots like this one right here, where you can see there's South Africa and the green cap, and you'll know, like up close, there's the Australian girl. You want to be able to have every bit of promotion that you can, but you really have to be careful, because man, there's nothing more dangerous than getting power engines near athletes in the water.
Yeah. It looks to me that they're just, they're revving up. It'll be very interesting to me who stops at this feeding station. That should be coming up here on their right side.
Yes, and Steve, I'm sure that they're all aware of the heat, and I'm hopeful that you got a few of them are helping us out with this heat study. Do you have some information on that we can share?
No, we didn't get any swimmers to participate in the heat and humidity study. Ooh,
number 19,
yellow card.
Yellow card.
Or yellow flag.
Yellow.
Who is 19? I should have pulled up the Sid, you have the swimmers list?
I didn't pull it up here, no, but I will get it. I'm sure that Quinn.
Someone stop.
Oh yeah.
They stopped dead in there. Another interesting thing I just saw reminded me, a swimmer right there in the center of our screen has a duct tape on her forehead connected to her swim cap, and that must be the most unusual bit of equipment of any Olympic sport, I believe.
I've seen a lot of the American girls do that, especially the ones that have a lot of hair or like have issues with their caps coming off, because that's the last thing you want is your cap to come off, and a little duct tape resin on your forehead's nothing compared to losing your cap. Here's the feeding.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay. So now they're coming off slightly from the straight line tangent. You see they're feeding poles with a bunch of a drink. They're pulling it out of the cup, going on their back, taking a drink. Oh, this is interesting. They're taking some nice amounts of fluid in them.
That is good coaching right there, because you absolutely have to be well hydrated during this entire time. Now, I don't think, is that Haley out there?
Yeah. No, I think that is Ashley. I didn't see her stop.
The girl there did not feed, and that is Ashley. I can tell her stroke. She elected not to feed on that first loop, which is an interesting choice. But you know what? She's a veteran, Steve, and she knows what she's doing. I have no doubt that she has a great.
And I saw Anna Marcella right behind her. Interesting. Anna Marcella didn't feed at all in the Rio Olympics. That was a problem with her feeding. Yeah, and Ashley is from North Carolina, where she's been training in the heat and humidity for the last few months. So this is nothing surprising to her.
Right. And here they come through the gate, and they actually listed Anna as the leader. She and Ashley came through together, but it looks like Ashley's taken off. And there's 11th place for Haley Anderson, the second American. And it's still a big box. I mean, there's very few that have fallen off anywhere to this point, 19 minutes almost into the race.
do see a bunch of boarders out there. In the case that there is some emergency, what's paddle boarders, are they the first ones to help the athlete? Are they transported on a medic boat, or what are the
Absolutely. Oh, there we see it again. It looked like it was a goggle issue there with the span.
yeah,
Maybe, Steve.
yeah,
I thought,
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
know that we had that challenge, but yeah, to answer your question about the paddle boarders, they absolutely, those are the lifeguards. They're open water lifeguards. They're all certified in ocean rescue. They're not just along to watch the race. And in this case, they are assigned to kind of shadow the group. The lead of the safety team will tell them specifically if he wants them to break off, and as the race develops, maybe assign one paddler. You keep your eye on this group, or maybe if one swimmer is falling way back, they often will select one paddler. Just, hey, stay right with this swimmer.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Ashley's throwing down the gauntlet here early in the race. 20 minutes in, she's picked up the pace.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting. She might say, hey, let's shake off some of these ones that are still kind of sleeping out here at 6 a.m. And
Right.
If you girls, want to be on the podium, let's step it up, man. And that may be to what is in her mind right now. And it looks like, there's a few responding to the challenge.
Yeah, yeah. What I like about Ashley just a lot, when she's swimming, she doesn't look up. I mean, she can swim straight for a long way without actually having to pick her head up in sight. She just knows how to swim straight. Very much like Carrie Ann Payne was the same way.
Very much. There are some athletes in open water, and it's actually a learned trait, I believe, Steve, because picking your head up and looking it almost becomes a nervous habit. Like when you have a young athlete that you're teaching open water, they want to pick their head up every third stroke or maybe every fifth stroke. And it takes patience, and it takes kind of a calmness internally to be able. I learned from a Stanford swimmer who was a great ocean racer named Tim Broderick out in Ocean City, Jersey. He told me to use the sun. He said, listen, as long as it's not a cloudy day, we had a lot of lifeguard races that would go out away from the setting sun on the East Coast and then turn around and head back. He said, take a good look at the angle of the sun, understand where you're going, think of geometry. And a lot of these athletes can do that. They've been on that course a few times. My guess is Ashley knows where she wants to go. And she's got that internal radar going.
Right. And she has definitely picked up the pace here.
Yes.
This is without a doubt. This is a classic breakaway. She decided at that first feeding station that she was going to skip, and she is now taking off. This is Ashley stretching out that field. I mean, before, from front to back, there was probably no more than 15 seconds.
Yeah. If you see, like it used to be a ball, just 7-8 minutes ago.
Right.
Now it's stretched out. And those girls at the front are definitely feeling the tempo change. I wonder if Haley knew she was going to do that. I wonder if she's not that far back, but those two girls have been such great teammates and yet rivals through the years. I mean, America's going to have some pretty big sandals to fill.
Yeah. I'll say, well, we've got Katie Grimes, the 15-year-old who got 4th in the 800. She does some open water. I mean, if anybody could fill their shoes, it's Katie.
Out Erica Sullivan.
Eric,
was a medalist who beat both of these.
Hang my head in shame for forgetting her.
And so, okay, she had a little bit more to prove, but Erica and that whole program, Sandpipers, Ron Aiken just has done. He's been such a great support for our national team. I know that he's been named to a couple national team efforts. Our junior team has benefited from Ron being there, and he's just a fantastic coach. So there's the Venezuelan girl in the yellow cap, the Japanese girl there, white with the blue letters, Canada. Oh man, this is, I really have to give it up to my guy Rico in the media lab here. I've got this giant screen. I've never really enjoyed the marathon race like this before. I'm always out there on the boat, and
Right.
this is great. You know, we're 24 minutes in, and Ashley Twitchell is really saying, "Okay, girls, let's see who wants to race today, because I do. And if you want to go with me, come on. Let's see what you do."
Wow, this is great.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Somebody had to push the pace. I would have not have guessed this early in the race.
Well, the young German there, number 13, that's Beck, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's going with it. She is not to be denied. She says, "Okay, you know, I'm ready for this. Let's see what we got." And you're right, it is very interesting.
Yeah. And the water is not as smooth as I thought it would be. I mean, you know, those little ripples, Sid, you know, I'd much rather have the huge rolling ocean swells personally.
Oh yeah. No, when they rolled in Rio, it was beautiful. And it was beautiful. I just think, but where we are right now, it's not as sterile as it was in Beijing when it was the rowing course. Now, the rowing course we swam in Montreal was a little bit more open because that island was out in the middle of the river. That's where they had Expo 67, and they had the World Fair there. And then in 76, that was a big part of their Olympics. Well, that caught a lot of wind, and they could also open the gates at either end and flush it. And you see here, if you look, there's a good bit of opening even to the south side. From this angle, you see the Rainbow Bridge in Tokyo behind. 25 minutes, 48 seconds in. And boy, what beautiful photography. These.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. This is great.
So
the other thing too, that I can't imagine, many of these women, this is their last competitive race of their lives, at least in this. I mean, I'm sure mentally they're leaving everything out there today, and the pain they're going to have to endure is beyond me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And yet when it's over, here they are coming into the turn, 2.18 kilometers into the 10K. And it is Ashley Twitchell coming out there first. Is that the French girl right behind her? I think it's FRA and then Germany.
Laura, and Karina Lee of Australia is up there.
Haley's fourth or fifth or sixth, right in there.
If Haley's up at fourth or fifth, I gotta believe she says, "I'm not going to let my teammate run away." This is relatively early in the ball game for Haley to be that close to the leader.
They're approaching the 25% done mark, but you're right. In many of these international races, you know, they're at 5-6K before somebody really tries to push it. And for Ashley to be pushing it that hard this early, I think it adds a lot of excitement to the race and a little bit of thrill. We don't see these 10K races where they're lining up like this, one after the other. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 individual swimmers before you see the first side by each. I mean, that's almost unheard of, 2K into a race.
It is a beautiful shot where you see the wake just swimming within that wake. It's got to be comfortable being like third or fourth. Right.
And then we'll get some times here when they go by the Omega tent and lap 2 of 7. So they're looking like at this pace, it's going to be a little bit over 2 hours. You know, every race is a little bit different. And even if they're measured exactly the same, there's our head referee, Abdul, his assistant.
Second place, Marcella Cunha. I think they misrepresented on the screen below. That was clearly Anna Marcella.
Yeah. I think it maybe just didn't pick hers up because sometimes
I see.
If you're not that close, if you're on the outside, sometimes it will miss. Like, look, it only had 23, and so it missed 2. We only got up to number 23, so at least 2 it didn't register, and they are unofficial times. The only thing that matters at the end is, of course, time doesn't matter. It's who touches the pad first, and which is exactly why the watch and the times and all that, it's secondary to the video replay and the referees that are at the finish position, and the head referee going into the Omega booth and confirming. And they go down to, as slow as you can go on the ultra high def TV film. And it works out great to try. If there's a tie, it's a real tie.
Right. And now there's another, besides the duct tape on the forehead, they also wear transponders on their wrist. And those transponders are the communication device between the swimmer and Omega Timing, correct?
That is correct. And the dream is, because the technology's there, is to make those devices even smaller so that the athletes will not have to wear them on their wrist. We're talking about maybe putting a chip into your cap or your goggles, or somehow, maybe a couple chips of backup in case you lose one, but also to build in GPS so that when you go to these shots from above, you could have each of those chips line up a country flag, and you could see, I can see where everybody is exactly by their flags.
Yeah. Oh, there's a great shot. Look at that wake.
Oh yeah.
Giving off.
Yeah. And there's plenty of chop out there today. It's
this is Yumi Kida, the Japanese, in her 3rd Olympics. She, like many others, she was a converted 400, 800 meter swimmer. Started out a bulk of her career in the pool, representing Japan in the pool environment, and then she got into open water, where now she's been this is her 3rd Olympics.
Yes, it is, and boy, it is. They're going off. I'm excited to see it. I tell you this, I know Ashley Twitchell knows herself, and she would not have made this move if she wasn't absolutely sure that she can hang on and make it go.
Yeah, this is great. Again, around the yellow guide buoy or intermediate buoy. What's also very interesting to me is the swimmers who are not as quick as the Ashley Twitchells and the Anna Marcellos. The athletes from Algeria. Who do we else we have there? I'm trying to look in the very back. They're just trying to hang on. I mean, I would. Last thing you want to do is get dropped off the pack and have to swim another 8 kilometers by yourself.
Yeah, no, you do not want to be at the back end on your own. It is.
Oh yeah, Ashley is definitely stretching this field out. Definitely stretching it out.
Yes.
We're now 32 minutes into the race. Ashley is dictating the race. Ashley is a 31-year-old from upstate New York. She went to Duke University, set all kinds of school records, competed in the NCAA championships, and her first international competition was actually in Shanghai, where she had a great race in the 5K, got a bronze medal in her very first race. And since then, she's won gold in the 5K, competed over the last 10 years, on the international circuit. And she also goes to a lot of invitational races, from the Cayman Islands to the very famous Midmar Mile in South Africa. And here they are. Guaranteed.
Yeah, here they come.
Ashley's going to take a drink here. She's got to.
Better. I mean, John Payne is her coach. He's a smart guy. He's had her come up, and you're right. She's been such a great representative for our sport. It's training at that TAC Titans in North Carolina. And I know that she's got a plan, and maybe it's, maybe she's going to feed on just the even numbers. It's a little easier to come in and get your feed when you're in the lead. Certainly you're not going to have people, you see the American flag at the end of these 5-meter poles. So roughly about 15, 16 feet long is the extent of them reaching out. And
oh, let's see. Is Ashley coming in?
2 flags. Ashley, are you going to come in and get one, please?
Oh, I think she is. I think she is.
Okay.
Yeah, she definitely is.
Because
now, Sid, at the pre-race technique, here she goes. There she goes. Grabs it right here. Let's see what she does. She's checking out the situation, a little bit on her back, throws it out.
Great.
And
she got all 12, 15 ounces of that.
right.
And still kept the lead. So I'm sure that's what Coach Payne and Ashley were planning is, look, skip it the first time, get a lead, pick up the pace, and then let's see who you can drop. Well, you know what? The back of the pack, those girls that maybe have made it on the back end of the qualifier, or maybe they've been through the whole week and they're just, already tired from pool events. I don't know. But I would tell you pretty much from here on that those girls are going to have a real tough time, those back 7, 8, 9, 10 girls, of getting back into the game.
Oh, you can see it already. Those last 5 to 8 athletes, they're already off the pack.
Yeah. And I mean, not that they won't have a great experience and then part of the Olympics. Of course, it's not winning, it's taking part, right? Is that Pierre de Coubertin? Isn't that what he told us? It's this whole love fest, the Olympics. All right. So Haley,
it looks like
9.5 seconds back of Ashley in 9th place, and 12 seconds for 14th. Sanderson, the Canadian. There's Kita,
Rooney.
Japanese girl, 17.9 back in 17th place. So Deering.
Oh, this is interesting. Sorry, Sid. Zing, who won, is 28 seconds back.
Yeah.
She's in 21st position. That's really surprising.
That is a long way to be back at this point at the rate these girls are swimming. Now, normally you'd think, 21st isn't so bad if the pack is all still together. But when they're stretched out in this fashion, you can almost draw a line. If you're not still in touch with that lead group of 12 or so, it's going to be tough. They're doing a replay on the Twitchell feed, and she just opens her mouth up and pours it down. That's the way to do it. Now, some people teach you how to chug beer like that, Steve. But more importantly, get your feeding in. I'm not saying she did that at Duke or won any prizes there at the local pub, but she certainly somehow learned how to just open up her throat and throw down. And open water marathon swimmers, you better go practice, because that's an important quality to have.
Now, this is interesting, Sid. Those feeding poles are actually managed and held by your coach. Typically a coach, they stand on the side of the pool and you have a stopwatch and you whistle and you cheer. But in this particular sport, you've got a big, huge responsibility, making sure that you have the feeding pole in position. You get it down near the water surface so the athlete can grab it. That's a lot of pressure there.
It is a lot of pressure. And Steve, as you know, because you were both marathon swimmer and marathon coach, I personally would rather be the swimmer, because when you're the coach, there's a lot of pressure. I got to get the right thing and make sure I got to do this and make sure they get all the, especially if you've got a couple swimmers. But it was all born out of that long distance swim where the coach was on the boat, the swimmer was in the pool. And as you well remember, when we first got into this game and we had our world championships of the 25K back in Perth, Australia in the first week of 1991, and then all the way through the 90s, the 25K race, each swimmer would have one boat and they would stay with their boat. And what we found as the decade wore on is that the swimmers like the Chad Hundebys, the Jay Wilkersons, the Karen Burtons, the Martha Jans, they would tend to swim together in a pack. And we'd be blowing, you guys get away from everybody. You got to swim with your boat, swim with your boat. And they were like, the hell with you. We're not swimming with our boat. We're swimming with the swimmers. We're racing. well, you guys can, we'll feed when we can. And that all the rules that were in place that really we kind of took out of the English Channel rules is really our current rules were first founded. And God rest his soul, Dale Petronic did a great job of trying to pull all those in for us. But the rules were built for one referee, one coach, one pilot on a boat, and one swimmer in the boat. This is a whole different animal. This is
Absolutely. This is a lot of tact. A lot of this is just suited for what I would call the European mentality. You know, you grew up watching the peloton and you going in a pack. A very anti-American, we're freedom, we're independent, we just do it by ourselves kind of stuff. But that's exactly what Ashley Twitchell's doing. That's what.
Yeah, she's pushing the pace. She says, well, I'm going to go down swinging. I mean, I may get the gold, or I may fall apart, but I'm not going to leave anything left. There's no question. I'm going to leave it all out here. I really respect that. It kind of reminds me of my days swimming against a guy named Bobby Hackett. I saw him win 1,500. You raced against Bobby. Bobby was a young guy from New Rochelle. He got the silver medal to Brian Goodell in the 76 nationals, 76 Olympics, but in the 75 nationals, he shocked the world because he had somehow, as a 15 young guy, qualified for the top 8. I know, because he beat Tony Barlow and me on the way. I said, where did that kid come from? And then he gets lane 8, and he ends up winning it by doing this kind of thing. He broke the world 800 record long before it was a big record in 75 on his way out, and he hung on. There's athletes that can do that. And mentally, after 5 years since the last Olympics, you got to think, Ashley, I mean, how many times, how close has she been? There's no doubt she wants that podium. And I'm sure she wants that top podium,
Yeah. Oh, she's moving quickly.
Yep. But they're not letting her go. I mean, and that may work to her benefit eventually. Like, let's say 5 or 6 of these girls can handle this pace and at 7,000 meters, currently they're 41 minutes in, they're not even halfway. Maybe she should think about, okay, I'm going to get behind the girl from, Great Britain or from wherever, get behind anybody and give it a break. But it doesn't appear that's in her plan at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know where 𝐒𝐭𝐞𝐯 of China is at this point, but if this strategy has led to 𝐒𝐭𝐞𝐯 dropped off, then for Ashley, it has worked because, she's the defending world champion. And if she's off the pace, that's one last person that Ashley and the other leaders have to worry about.
Absolutely. It is, you can see there the Olympic rings. Yeah. It's just a very interesting race. Yeah. Her temp.
And you can see everybody else is like, okay, we know who Ashley is. So they're not about to let her go.
No, if they let her go, they know they're going to be only in a bigger hole, and that's why your swimmers that are well coached. Stéphane Lecotte, the great world champion that he was many times, he coaches the French team. We've seen one of their athletes up here. Is that the Russian Olympic in second?
No, I think that's still Anna Marcel. I think that she has. Usually they have a yellow and green cap, but she has a white cap, which is interesting. I see a lot of athletes this time that normally don't wear a white cap. I think they got to say, I want to minimize my color.
Okay, I'm getting a text here from the Olympic coach for the USA. She said, Ashley Twitchell has to go. Haley just has to keep it close. I said, are you happy with the pace? She said she knows this pack. So she wanted to get away from them. She did not want to sit around and
she's got a nice 2-body length lead right now. Again, they still got over an hour of swimming, an hour of racing, and anything can change at any moment. But man, she's looking good. And I see Haley Anderson, just two Americans in the top 4 or 5. But then there's right behind Haley Anderson is Sharon, defending Olympic champion.
Right.
And she's going to be in the mix at the end.
Oh, no doubt. And so is Anna Kuna, because no matter what race you have, how long, how short, that woman is always going to be in the mix at the end. She finds a way,
she does.
Yeah. Wow.
I call Anna Marcella the fastest slow marathon. Her pool times are relatively not that fast.
Right.
But put her in the open water, eliminate flip turns, and this woman can swim.
She definitely can do that. There's a great picture of Anna Marie. And she has been a great ambassador for the sport as well. I know plenty of young people in South America have taken it up. It's been a hotbed. You've been down there. My sister swam in that Parana River race, 88 kilometers. I think 37 was the longest one I did. That was plenty long enough. I think you yourself have done you did a record in Japan that was 30 or 40K, wasn't it?
It was long.
What race was that, Steve?
Yeah, so the direct distance was 19 there and back, but it was oh gosh, it was, but you get pushed.
And which lake was that?
That was actually the 2 islands of Japan, the island of Honshu, which is where Hokkaido, to the northernmost island, and there was a channel there that we call the English Channel of Asia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to call it. You got Deering. Look at these times now. Deering he was 17th and 17 seconds back. 20th is Ecuador's Aravallo. She's 20.2 seconds back. I'm saying if you're more than that back at this point, you're not really going to. And that's why I think Xing, not today. Not today. But
because when in this heat at 29.5 Celsius or 85 degrees Celsius Fahrenheit, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're going at 90% of your maximum pace or 80% of your max pace. You're overheating anyway.
Right.
So, and to eliminate that deficit, you're going to have to really push it.
And you see the French girl is her cap's starting to come off a little bit. She might wish she put a little duct tape on there, because if that thing comes off, it is hard in that heat. And you're right. We have our medical team on staff there ready to go, but it could very easily be that some of these swimmers in the lead are not able to maintain. There's a good picture of our head referee, Abdul, from the beautiful country of Oman. John West working with him, the New Zealander with a lot of experience in open water administration. They do a great job on our.
Sid, excuse me, but you saw the referee there blowing a whistle and then moving his hands outwards. What does that mean for the athletes?
That's Mr. Bill Ford from Australia, and he's saying, spread out, get apart. You got this whole big bay. Don't be swimming on top of each other, and the knocking of elbows and the playing games. If he doesn't think it's quite worthy of a yellow flag at this point, but he wants them to know that he's looking at them. And a lot of times a referee will even pick up and hold a yellow flag, like, okay, I'm going to get ready, and hold the whistle like I'm going to blow it, because the kids are looking at it. They're like, am I going to? Okay, they're both looking down. I can get this girl now. I can, believe it or not, that does happen.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I've been very impressed. These athletes, again, great. All of them are great ambassadors of the sport. They've gone fairly clean around the turn buoys. I mean, I don't see a lot of physical activity, if you will. So, I hand it off to them. Most important race of their life. And, they're so far, their behavior seems impeccable.
And I would tell you, Steve, I'm not sure, like we said it in the pregame show, I think coming out of COVID has a lot to do with people being a little more grateful, just thankful, just very respectful that this is happening. They have the chance to race, and they're just, at this point, gracious. They're
Yeah.
you know, not taking anything for granted.
Yeah. That's interesting. I know Anna Marcella, who's in second right now. You know, Brazil was hit bad by the COVID, but she actually went over to Portugal, another Portuguese. So the athletes did what they had to do to maintain their stamina.
They did, and interesting coming back from Portugal. I've been there now 4 or 5 times over the last decade, and their open water federation has grown by leaps and bounds. And in Setúbal, they actually have a municipal house right on the river, the bay right there, where anybody can walk in, sign out one of those safer swimmers, you know, the orange buoys, you tie it, say, I'm going out for a swim. And just like they can rent kayaks down, they can come in and check in and they'll get information, water temperature. They come in, they can get a shower. It's really cool. It's like, oh, like you go to a municipal swimming pool, you can go to municipal open water. And that's what Setúbal and the fine people of Portugal have done. So I have no doubt that Anna Maria she's probably looked at as a real hero to those folks. There's Fernando saying the same thing. There's, yep. Bill
now
will be the head ref tomorrow night. Go ahead.
Got it. So do you think the athletes are drinking chilled drinks, or are they sort of room temperature? What do you think they're taking down?
Again, it's a preference, but from what we've learned scientifically, you really don't want ice cold water on a hot day. It just takes so much energy for your body to digest that. And you want it a little cooler than the 88 degree or 85 degree water you're swimming in. But room temperature is probably about like it. You probably keep it in a cooler without ice. That's what I would do on a day like today. Maybe have an ice pack on the bottom, but I'm not going to try and chill it because I would rather it be a little closer to their body temperature.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the third end of the third loop of 7. We're 51 minutes into the race. Again, the race will probably be somewhere between an hour and 53, an hour and 55 minutes. So we got still a whole hour. Athlete's been in the lead for the last 2 loops, really pressing the pace. And we're going to see them come in to get their feed. A lot of pressure. All have different feeding sticks that they've probably handmade.
Yeah, maybe, or they might have changed them up, but a lot of these telescope, there it is again.
Oh, two swimmers went past.
Yep.
No feeding.
So that's Anna Maria Cunha, who did not feed there. Did she feed yet? I don't know if she did. I don't remember seeing her feed at all.
No, she didn't. She went right past Ashley, which is interesting because she's not slowing down and she just maintaining that pace. Now, what's interesting for Anna is she comes from a very warm humidity. This is no stranger to her. She's used to this. And yep, that's Anna. She said, okay, Ashley, you handle the laps 2 and 3. I'm going to handle.
Okay. It is 6.1. Vanderwoel is 8.4 back.
Oh, look at Zing. Now has moved up into 10th, only 11 seconds behind. So we were counting her. I was counting her out. Now she's back in, expect the unexpected.
She's in that group. She's in, I think you can look at the ones that are 30 back now and say, well, I don't know. But, 16 back, 17th place is the Russian Olympic Committee girl. Yeah, this could, if Ashley keeps pressing it, Anna Maria, it kind of like, what does Kuna want to do? Does she want to keep this race going? You can see that, it's still those same. You got the Australian girl, Lee. There's the times that thanks Quinn for putting them up on our screen. The second German's only 8 seconds back. Sharon von Roonwald, she is definitely in the mix at 8.4 back. And then right behind them at 10.0 is Haley Anderson. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we definitely see a medal winner in that first league. I agree. They're fighting for whatever. Anna looks good, strong, just a slight 2-beat kick. Haley is probably saying, okay, I know who you are. I've raced you dozens of times, and I'm just going to sit right on your feet. What's interesting if we were swimming in a tropical setting, when the water is crystal clear, they wouldn't have to look up so much. They would just see them underwater. But it's a little bit murky. Water is a little bit brown in Tokyo Bay. So Ashley seems to be looking up a little bit more in second than she did when she was in the first position.
I agree. Look at, like you're talking about the 90-degree turn. It's interesting there. Here's another shot of a feed. And, this one, like the cup method, as long as you can pour it down your throat. See how there's Haley Anderson. And she, look, rolls right into the next stroke from it. What great photography these guys have. This is phenomenal.
You see their cheeks look very flushed now. I mean, the heat must be getting to them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. You know, that sun is bright.
Yeah.
It's bright. And oh.
Yeah, well, so Anna Marcella, she went to her first Olympics in 2008 as a 16-year-old. And since then, she is probably, I believe, the swimmer who has probably earned the most in sponsorship money. She is really well supported by her sponsors, and she gives back to her sponsors a lot. She's personable. She races anywhere, anytime, anywhere. You know, you've seen her at numerous world championships when she swum the 5K, the 10K, the 5K relay, the 25K. I mean,
oh yeah, no, she's a phenomenal representative, and just a really good all around open water swimmer, a marathon swimmer. She gets it. She, you know, there's never been an Olympic Games that she hasn't participated in.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, this is interesting. Who is that over on the side? I mean, they have specifically chosen not to be, or maybe, who is that?
Well,
on the far right, they seem to be separating.
Is that Anna over there and Ashley in the close?
Maybe that's the case. I think this is the long stretch. So this is the longest point between two buoys. So okay, they're getting back together again. They just went off on a slight tangent, maybe a few degrees difference, and now they're getting back together. But they're moving.
Yeah, they are. This is not a stroll in the park. They're not just waiting around.
Personally, I'd be around lap 2 right now, watching them lap me.
There's a picture of what we were just referring to, Steve, where the athletes had separated. Yes. You know, they realize, hey, there's a little bit more strength if we combine our efforts.
Right. There's got to be head games here now. So Anna, was out, and then she said, "Okay, I may be off tangent a little bit, but this is my lap to lead."
Right, and a lot of times they do that. They actually do, take a little bit of time.
Yeah. And who is this referee there? Was that the gentleman from Argentina?
From Argentina, Fernando Torrilli. Okay. He was a heck of a swimmer himself. Yes. And has been on the committee now many years. He's a good man. Works hard for the sport in his own federation and throughout the world. 22 got a red card or yellow card. Yellow flag, number 22. And that is Has Quinn got those numbers for us? Yeah, I thought I had them right here. Let's see.
I think you had an email with the numbers, because before the race starts, there's what we call a technical meeting, a pre-race meeting, if you will. And then the 25 athletes are randomly chosen. And they're randomly chosen because that's your starting position. And that's also the start of where your own coach has to stand, number 1 to number 25. And so number 22, we need to figure out who is the number 22 in that random drawing of numbers.
Right. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Oh, they're definitely pushing it now. Oh, they're really pushing it.
Yep.
And you know, it only looks like 4 or 5 athletes, the main pack there, which is very impressive.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Let's see. I think Paula Bravo of Spain got yellow carded, and Samantha Aravello, also of Ecuador, got yellow carded. It would be interesting to know if they got red carded because of actions they did to each other. Sometimes you get elbowed, or maybe you get hit or bumped, and it's natural for these competitive athletes to want to feel to retaliate. But retaliation just takes away from the energy that you can expend going forward faster.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is hard. It's hard for them to back away, when you're full bore. I got to go on. I'm in a fight mode. But you have to be careful.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting, and like we were talking about Bobby Fink earlier today, how he just came back. They're now in the second half of the race, and their second half of the race will definitely be faster. So they've passed that magical 50% completed, and they're going for it. So it's 5.5 kilometers. They're past halfway. And I think they're just going to see the leaders get faster and faster from here on in.
Yeah, I think they will. They pushed that front end so much, Steve. It wouldn't surprise me if the winning time is right around 2 hours or 2:01, because if they're at 5:05 with 1:01 or 1:30, yeah, they're going to try and keep going faster. But at some point in this heat, something's got to give. I mean, I just can't imagine that at that rate that Ashley pushed it, that this is actually going to be a negative split 10K. Yeah. I could be wrong. That last loop is always crazy fast. Yes. And the first one was pretty slow. So I wouldn't shock me, but I think it is going to seem like one of our longer 10Ks. Anytime the race actually goes over 2 hours, we tend to think of it, it's a longer race, but really, what's that? 108 per 100 meters is a 2 hour. I think about something like that. Thousands on 12 minutes.
So Anna Marcella just, keeping the pace. Ashley, there's not a lot of change up front. Yep,
there's back third.
Laura is up there, and Beck, and Anna loss of
Haley's only 7
to 5th position. Back. Rachel Bruni is just hung around in the top 10, just hanging around. We're going to see some of her certainly in the last 2 laps.
14th place Deering from Great Britain. She's now only 17 seconds back. I think that top 15, they're within 20 seconds. Lee of Australia is 15th. I think that's about where I'd cut it for chances for the podium at this point, halfway through. Yeah. Could be wrong, but I think if you're not in the top 15 right now, it's going to be tough.
Right.
And again, it's tough on all of them. It's pretty tough for everybody, whether you're front 15 or back 10. Okay.
I was thinking about this Tokyo Olympics. There's, no fans in the stand. And, last night or yesterday, they had the 100-meter dash. And typically, we'd have Usain Bolt, performing in front of a packed stadium. And obviously the electricity of the crowd is everything in a basketball game or volleyball game, boxing match, track and field. But open water swimmers, really, they're just out there by themselves. Whether there's 10,000 people or 100,000 people, they have no clue. They can't hear anything. They can see a little bit, but really they're out there by themselves. So, this no spectator Olympics for the marathon swimmers, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right. The open water swimmers, not much different. And, but they are racing this like it,
Yeah.
I mean, in their minds, it's, there's the boats, they hear the whistle. So you're right. The crowds are always a bonus. It's wonderful. You can hear them. If you do the big races in Canada, the pro races they've had for 50 years, a lot of times they'll have the little maze at the end where you have to swim 400 meters back and forth 4 times after you've crossed. Like when I did the Bay de Chaleurs, I'm like, what? I still have another 2 miles? How can it be 4 miles? Well, you had to do 800 meters up and back twice, It's like,
Yeah.
But I tell you, the athletes understand the rhythm of this race, and it's a challenge. And they've come to know this distance as the Olympic marathon swim. And there were, like we talked about Penny Dean and pushback from others that like, no, it's not a real marathon. But in my mind, if it's a 2-hour running race can be a marathon, a 2-hour swim race can certainly be. And then we go beyond what FINA now calls the ultra marathon is our 25K. Actually, anything over 10K can be a 15K or 38K.
I thought it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant that this distance, 10 kilometers, was marketed and defined as a marathon swim. It is absolutely brilliant because, we think of a marathon run, you think about many people trying to break sub 3, but there's tens of millions of people who actually can eventually do a marathon, walk, run, jog, whatever you call it. And now we've put 10 kilometers in the realm with many, 50, 60, 70. It doesn't matter if it's an ocean, cold lake. 10 kilometers is a doable distance. It's still difficult, but doable for many. And I just thought that defining 10 kilometers as a marathon distance was a brilliant stroke of promotion.
Thank you. It was hard. I mean, there were a lot of battles. You know what that Toes meeting room is like. You spent your time in there. And it actually, I'm getting texts from the old Jay Wilkerson. The reality is the hard part on that is that different people have different visions. But when the world came together and said, we need to call this a marathon, I can remember going, marathon. It's open water. He picked up open water, slammed it down like a glass of water. He said, this is what, and the glass shattered. I'm like, whoa, and he stormed out of the meeting. That was back in Rome in the 90s. I'm like, okay, he agrees marathon. You guys, can we call it marathon swimming? We just want to call it a marathon. And I get it. At one point it was just all called long distance swimming.
Right.
That was kind of nebulous, but I really like the Olympic marathon distance, 10K, and it's in now. We're locked in. I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah. I heard a great comment yesterday where someone was saying, why do you call it water polo? Why don't you call it water ball, like basketball, volleyball? And that, God, sometimes words can mean so much. And this particular word, marathon swim, means so much. And it's really, really, 2008 was the first time they had this in the Olympics, and the sport has truly exploded globally.
Yeah, it is. And certainly you and Wowza and the people that have believed in the sport and done a lot for it, Steve, and the growth of it. It's just so exciting. It's something that everyone can do. You can do it at any distance. There's short ones, there's long ones, there's, we do the 12 and unders. Here they come in for the fourth feed.
Okay, this is now that we're taking very, very strategic. Ashley Twitchell, and then Anna Marcella Cunha, grabbing the lead by bypassing the feeding station. Ooh, look at this. Is Anna going to bypass her second feeding?
Yes.
She is. Wow. That was interesting.
But no, that was Anna that did feed. That she did get a feed in there.
Oh, she did?
Yes, that I could see BRA on the Brazil cap was in there.
Okay.
Okay, so 4 down, 3 to go, right?
Yes.
109 into it, and they're moving.
Now they're just going to pass by the finish, if you will. Sid, I haven't seen where the finish will be. Are they putting that in place in between at the end of the 6th loop and the finish of the race on the 7th loop?
My understanding was it was going to be in place already. I think it's just out of the picture. You see.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be a straight shot when they come down that back
Oh,
straight.
got it.
So that
Okay.
they're going to go a good 400-500 meters straight into the finish. So I think that's good. It's
Okay.
hard in the beginning when you have so many turns, but yeah.
And interesting, I saw Rachel Bruni, who is a silver medalist from Rio. She's 14 seconds down in 13th place. That's unusual.
Well, yes and no. I mean, if you're still 14 and you're in that pack and you're feeling good and you can, you can hang on to it. That
Still doable.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you got 3 loops left. You got plenty of time, and
Yeah.
but, oh yeah, it's beautiful. But very.
Go ahead.
I'm just really interested at this shot. Like again, how long and straight this group has spread out.
Yeah.
It's almost, you see the lead referee boat. He's not even going with the lead swimmer because nothing can happen if she's out there all by herself.
Right.
But he's kind of looking back where the pack, there might be 2 or 3 others.
Yeah.
And there's Twitch.
Interesting. The sun seems bright now. Very, very bright.
So it's about what, 7:30, 7:41 in Tokyo right now. And the sun's been up for almost 3 hours. It's probably 90 degrees out.
Ooh.
We know the water was 85 when they started. It's not getting any cooler.
Yeah.
So and pushing themselves at this crazy rate is really that's why they are Olympic athletes, true Olympic. Yeah. I believe this is, and I love seeing all the new events I have to say, I was poo-pooing skateboard until I watched it in the Olympics. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool, and then the climbing, and I mean, I'm just like, I am such an Olympic fan. I mean, if it's a sport in the Olympics, I'm watching. And
Yeah.
I think this one deserves to be in there, since swimming is one of the oldest sports. It's been in there the longest. Water polo, the oldest team sport. I think the aquatics in general brings such great excitement to the Olympic Games. All right, so Italy.
Rachel's looking good.
Yeah.
Rachel Bruni.
Her tempo looks great. Number 20, and
tempo.
Good. Yeah, Rachel. I wouldn't worry about her being out of it. She looks like she's in the thick of it.
Yeah. Well, Ashley, her husband and her family are watching, just hoping for that gold. Yeah,
it's why not? She's done everything else in the nation. Everything else. I got a flurry of texts there, Steve. I guess Rowdy Gaines just mentioned that I wasn't there, that I'm with you. broadcast on NBC. So they are at least showing it. Somebody's watching it. They got a guy from North Carolina, another one from Alabama said, "Hey, Rowdy just mentioned you." So it is on NBC, at least parts of it.
Yeah.
I think watching it here with you, I've never seen such clarity of an event developing like this, from a dry land position.
Right. And Ashley's now overtaken the lead. She's pushing the pace again.
And I think Anna Marie is very happy to let her do that.
Right.
I think, look, I did my lap. I did my loop. You led 3, I led 1. Now you lead again, lead 3, well, actually lead 2.5 more, and then I'll take over again.
Yeah. But she seems very comfortable with a nice and easy to-be kick.
Yep.
No sweat there. All right, well, that's easy for me to say. Yeah.
No sweat. No sweat.
6,000 miles away.
Conditioning, I'm fine.
Yeah.
They are not having it so easy. But very, very exciting race as they come down to the last 30, 40 minutes of swimming.
Now, what's interesting here is what's going through their heads. Now, Ashley really she's dictating the pace right now. The race is hers, but everybody else is thinking, now, when do I make that move? When is my time? And they've got to react to Ashley. They've got to react to Anna Marcella.
They do. And generally, you think in or out of a feed, in or out of a buoy, in or out of a place where there's going to be a turn of some type of change in the race, maybe you can make it. We've seen Anna Marie feed at least once, but not a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if this go round, is the last for almost everybody in this lead group.
Yeah.
There's a great shot, slow-mo.
Yeah.
And is that the Australian girl? Maybe.
That is,
I think
I see. Is it A?
24, number 24.
Algeria. That's Algeria.
Yep. And she made it in at the qualifier it's great to have so many African representatives this time around. I know that, there's some great swimming and our committee has been working hard on that. I think with our new president, Mustafa's our old president, Hussein Al-Masalam, and what he's doing, coming from Kuwait and really caring about the nations all over the world, the nations that might not be the Australias, the USAs, the Canadas, the Germanys, and doing his best to try and promote this event. There's some good things on the line, Stephen. There's going to be another big race this year that FINA is going to announce here, hopefully in the near future, before this year 2021 gets away from us. It's something we've been pushing for, and the relay race.
Right.
Getting that 6K relay, so everybody goes at 1,500. I love that idea. So thanks, Hussein, for that. And we look forward to seeing that for the first time very soon.
Yeah. Ashley's just pulling she's literally pulling 15 women with her, if not more. 15, 17, 18. Now, other than a whistle, you can't really hear anything, correct?
That's correct. You've got splish splash. You might hear if your coach is talking to you at the feed station, but no, you're in a zone. You're in a zone. You're not hearing much at all. And a lot of them pretend they don't hear the whistle. If they think if I don't look, maybe I won't see my number. But 6.48 kilometers done. Okay. And this is a great shot. You can see I'm 1 hour and 18 minutes into it and heading towards, yep.
Right here, Ashley is controlling the pace, but literally 10 women can win gold at this point.
Easily.
It's pretty fascinating.
Yep.
And we see Ashley's teammate, Haley Anderson, looking casual back there.
Oh, yeah. I think Haley's in a great position right now. I think she's well aware. You know, they're both such veteran racers.
Yeah.
Cool would that be for the U.S. to see two
Oh, go 1-2.
1-2 would be all. I mean, any two positions on the podium, I think is a win. And you know, you saw so much, you know, with the Simone Biles story and all the mental pressure that's on these athletes. Finally, people are starting to realize, hey, these aren't machines, and you don't fall to silver, you win the silver, you win the bronze. Hey, you know, you win the top 8, you get the chance to race in the top 8, but it's an event like no other. These
It was interesting. We saw right there John West confer. So your referees, you're talking to one another throughout the race, correct?
Yes, and we have headsets on, and you know, we'll generally ask, look at that, Haley Anderson took the lead. And there's Kuna right behind her and Twitchell in third. So now you have the Americans kind of both pushing the pace a little bit up there. And Haley does look strong. So when they get back to the start, they'll just have the 2 loops left, right?
Like we've got Cecilia Biaggioli, a 36-year-old mother.
Wow.
I think this is her 5th Olympics. Just incredible. She's coached by her brother.
That's such a cool story.
Yeah.
And if any of you wanted to look up the backstories on any of these athletes, Wowza and Quinn Fitzgerald and Steve Munatones did a great job highlighting every individual. So whether you want to look up some of these women or you're getting ready to watch a men's race tomorrow, you know, go to Wowza and check out each of those special little video presentations on each of the athletes entered in this year's Olympic.
Yeah.
Phenomenal work there, Steve. Thanks for doing that.
My pleasure. This is great. I think maybe that last Chiron with the Haley in first, that may have been a mistake, because I mean, it looks like Ashley hasn't given up her position.
She's definitely locked in, and it's possible, but
because I see Ashley over to her left on this
right.
in that second tier.
You mean Haley?
I'm sorry, Haley. Sorry, Haley. Yes.
Right. Well, I know this is Haley again in the lead. You can tell because she's got the sponsor from TYR, the tier group, and they've been great to open water. Even before Steve Furness retired, he was awesome starting that company up. I think we owe him a lot, and he's been great for her specifically, but for the sport in general. Yeah, they've done a great job. Not that Speedo or Arena or any of them have not. I just happen to see the TYR right there on Ashley's cap, and I know she's very happy to have them as a major sponsor.
You see in the background all of the high-rise buildings. There's, I think it's the Tokyo Broadcasting headquarters there, and in a variety of, it's also the same island where the Olympic Village is held, or is located, I should say.
Yep. And the NBC headquarters are right there by the broadcasting center.
Okay.
Our hotel, when we went there for the test event in 2019, was walking distance, a couple hundred meters away. And even during our test event, that empty line there along all that green, that walkway was packed with spectators. They had big plans to put up, lots of bleachers and things like that. So it's really a shame that this COVID has taken so much of a thrill away for the fans, but not for these athletes. Like you mentioned, it's, Ashley Twitchell could care less if there's 10,000 people watching. I mean, there's millions watching on television. Look at guys like us. We're pulling up like, go Ashley, go. It's exciting, and boy, getting to watch this race in this fashion is pretty phenomenal.
You know what's interesting about this race is, other than Ashley, I mean, usually there's a lot more leaders. Usually there's a lot more turnover at the top. I think everybody's just really content to stay where they are in positions number 3 through 10.
Right. I think those positions for right now are exactly where they want to be, and honestly, Ashley's going to have to be very, very tough at the end because she's putting out a lot of energy leading this pack. And Anna knows that. I mean, she's right where she wants to be, and Beck the same way. I mean, those are.
Ooh, there's Sharon, defending Olympic champion.
Yeah.
Talk about having some sharks behind you.
Oh, yeah. And then again, but as the head coach, Catherine, told me, Catherine Case said, she knows this pack. And they do these athletes, and it is, there's a camaraderie. There's really a familia kind of feeling. They go, they travel the world together. They're all friends. Now, when they're in the water, you're right. They're sharks. There is a feeding frenzy, and hey, wait, that's mine. No, that's mine. Let's tear after it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say a lot. Probably, we still have.
Ooh.
When I get here, that they will have finished 5. They have 2 more full loops to do.
Correct.
So I think this would be the last time you'll see most of them feed.
Yeah.
I think too many will feed on that very last loop. Yeah.
I noticed the Japanese also had some scuba divers there. That was an interesting shot. I don't know how many are scattered around the pool. Oh, I see Zing Zing actually coming up now.
Oh, yeah.
And oh man, this is going to be a fight to the end.
Yep. There's definitely, you can see the pack that went on the outside of the yellow buoy.
Yeah.
They're thinking, I'm not even feeding. No way I'm coming in for a feed.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to stay out here closest to that next buoy I can go to. But
I remember when the Technical Open Water Swimming Committee limited the length of the feeding poles.
Well, it is 5 meters. Yeah.
The feeding pole started to get longer and longer and longer.
Absolutely.
Okay. Did Ashley feed?
Ashley did not feed.
Okay. Wow. I would say this is a major, major gamble.
Yes. She's got a nice lead. I could not tell if Haley Anderson fed for the US. Yeah, with the 7 loop race, it is a little different, and it is strategy, and yet you also have to know your physical limitations. What can your body handle? And so much of it is really, where have you been training? How have you done this? What are you doing to make sure that you've acclimated to 85, 86 degree water?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get some time coming through the timing gate, right? Ashley Twitchell, 1:26.46. 3 seconds back for Kuna. Sharon, 4.2. Beck, 4.5. Haley Anderson, 6.4. Oh, they're all right there. It's Bruni, and she's only 12 back in 11th position.
Yeah. When you think about it, 12 seconds back, and they probably got another 33 minutes. That's plenty of time. Plenty of time. Oh, look at that. Nice
Shot of the fish jumping. Oh, that's so beautiful. Probably enough to scare some kids out of, okay, I'm not getting in. There's fish in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cutting it tight. She couldn't cut it any tighter than that.
That's Haley. Oh, yeah. I can hear a few whistles there, Steve. I think there's maybe something going on.
Yeah.
Separating them. Oh, boy. Okay, we're 1 hour, 28 minutes and change into this race. And so at most we have another half hour. But the pace and the tempo that these ladies have been pushing to me, is like unlike any race I've seen in recent memory for the women.
Yeah. Oh, this is brutal. There's got to be pain. There's got to be pain there.
I would guess there's going to be some medical attention, maybe some, IVs and things like that, because boy, it's hot and they're pushing it.
Yeah. So they have the loop is a little bit short of 1,500 meters. So imagine in a 50-meter pool, they've got about 60 laps to go. 60 laps to go, and they've been pushed last hour and probably the last hour and 15 minutes for sure. I see a lot more kick now.
Oh yeah,
It's a lot more leg work now than they were in the previous loops. Whistles are coming up.
yeah. There's a little more aggressive action going on. You can see that. You're right with the white water. Fernando telling them, ladies, move apart, or we're going to get this yellow flag out again.
Yeah.
And hopefully not a red one. You hate to see anybody. And that's one of the big challenges, Steve, when they give a red card in the middle of a race or even at 7 or 8K into it, and then the athlete doesn't want to get out. Per minute, they're giving us Twitchell at 45 point. I don't know how they figure that 45. I think they're off. Maybe they're talking about half a stroke per minute, 37 for Kuna. 30.
Yeah, I think, what they're here is that, it's just the cycle.
Because we tend to go more like 90. Like I'd see Twitchell at 90 strokes a minute,
Yes.
88, or
Yes.
that's one arm, and their stroke. They're at least on this Olympic channel, they're giving us more of the doubles.
Yeah, I think that's the pool community influence as opposed to the open water, where we count one hand entry in the water is one stroke.
Yes. Yeah.
And who is this coming up? Is that Anna on the left side of
that's Beck on the
Beck? Okay.
That's Beck. Yeah.
Okay, now we're getting some interesting action here.
Yep, and she has speed, and she's wearing that long-legged, even though it's
Yeah.
She's in there with it on. They're all thinking that way, and coming. You can see her feet popping up. She definitely picked up the pace.
Yeah.
A little lunge stroke where her right foot comes out when the left arm reaches forward all the way. So I'd say Miss Beck is saying, okay, this is my turn. Let's see. Let's go.
Right. And I guarantee the Germans were not swimming in the cold Baltic Sea in preparation for this. They were definitely heading south to get ready, to get their bodies acclimated to this heat and humidity.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Got a pack of 2 over there. I don't know. They're coming back. They said, wait,
yeah, they're coming back. Yeah.
Let's get back over here. And
okay, there's her German teammate back there. Oh yeah, it's still anybody's race here.
well, if you're in the top 15, if
Yeah.
you're in the top 12, it is. Because Ashley is not giving up. She said, I'll stay right here on Beck's feet. That's good.
Yeah.
So you have Germany and then USA. Number 13, Leonie Beck. That's second is Twitchell. They're showing us that.
Right. Boy, this drone operator or herself.
Absolutely.
It's that black media boat that has a overhead camera. That's probably it.
Well, that not this shot. That's
Oh,
definitely.
yeah. Yeah, that's definitely from the boat.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be exciting for the leader right now. Leona Beck just saying, I've been training for this all my life, and I'm in the lead in an Olympic race.
It is, and I guess the more you don't think, probably the better off you're going to be. Just get in and swim. You know, don't think too much. There's the girl from France and Ecuador. Is that
Yes.
one of
Ravello.
that was a great swim that she had to qualify.
Yeah. And I believe she's a bronze medalist at the World Championships, maybe in the 5K a few years ago.
Yes.
So she's got some closing speed. And if there's everybody, I would believe everybody here's altitude training, except Samantha truly is at high altitude. I think she trains at I think it's north of 7,000 feet.
Wow.
That's where she lives year round when she doesn't come down to the sea level.
Well, that has to be different. And
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is, I'm extraordinarily impressed. The organization, the level of competition, the professionalism in the camera work, the buoy, the shape of the buoys they made. The referees have really managed this race well. A relatively clean race that we know of. We've only had 2 yellow cards,
Right.
some warning whistles. This is great. And right now, we have potentially 8 or 9 countries that could have a gold medalist on the stand. Can't get any more competitive than that globally.
Yeah, that is. And the thing is, you could be probably a couple 100 meters away and it could still be that way. Third place is Sharon.
If I saw Sharon in 3rd place, I'd be sweating it right now.
Oh, yeah.
Defending Olympic champion.
She is definitely one of those who knows how to get her hand on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's interesting. You were there in Rio when she won. She really did her breakaway at the last loop where the feeding station and just took off and just left everybody behind.
Yeah, that's definitely what she did. I mean, she took control of that race at that point. And
could we be seeing deja vu here? She's moving into that position.
We might.
Right. Less than 2 kilometers to go.
Yep.
So again, if you're thinking in terms of a 50-meter pool that you swim in as a master swimmer or open water swimmer, they got 40 more laps of a 50-meter pool.
Yep, that's about right. They've done 8,000 meters. They've got 2,000 meters to go. Haley Anderson holding down 8.0 seconds back. So.
Oh, look at this. Bruni, 26 seconds back. I don't know if she can claw her way back into gold medal contention. 26 seconds back.
That's a lot of
that's a lot of distance.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. And there's so many of them that are so good. Even if 1 or 2 started to fall back and fall off, there's elite levels. The top 15 girls are all, they're known in their pools or in their city, in their state as the girl, the distance, these, right. And they're all stars, every one of them. They wouldn't be in the Olympics if they weren't.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking back about Ashley. If she skipped that 5th feeding station And I'm wondering if that was a miss.
Well, we'll know shortly.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if many of them are going to come in here, on this last one. I really would be surprised if
I'm with you. I don't think they do.
top 5 or 6. It's almost crazy to do it unless you're really hurting, like you really find yourself but at that point, if you're hurting, you're in trouble anyway.
Right. You can't lose contact here. It's sort of like one time in a boxing match, Oscar De La Hoya was going to box with the guy, and he came in and he was just slugging away. And afterwards, they said, "Oscar, like, why did you slug a fight? You just have to go with it." And in the middle of a fight for gold. And they're not about to lose any contact if at all possible.
Right. Yes.
Now it's interesting here. I don't see that hot. It's like they're preparing for the last lap. Their kick is now, it's maybe a 2-3 beat kick. The previous lap, I saw a bigger kick. It's like they know the last lap is coming up and everything's on the line.
Definitely. I mean, and these athletes, picking that kick up too early can hurt them too.
Yeah.
And I think as long as you're in a position,
I see Haley Anderson there, probably in 7th place or so, 7th, 8th place.
If she's
looks like she's bidding her time.
Her coach just texted me that she's like, "Oh, I think she's losing contact." If you're not in that first group right now, that pack that is in line where you can almost touch, you can touch each other's feet, but you're not supposed to. And if you continually do it, you'll get a whistle or a flag for it. Intentional, unintentional contact. It doesn't matter if it's unintentional if the referee thinks it's intentional, because what matters is what the referee's opinion is. And if you don't want to get called for that kind of ticky-tack, then just don't do it. And I think most of them have pretty good open water etiquette. So there's your podium performers. As you see this high shot
right there, you got to be equal with that white boat or above. And even that latter half of that white boat, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
This speed, it looks tough.
Right. And that's that's the group. That's the group. And it's going to be something. It's going to be something. I think this last loop, like, they all know it well now, right? They've done it enough. So this last loop is going to really be where all the marbles come out. That's China and Australia there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Zin. And they've fallen out of that lead pack, have they?
Yes.
Okay. So that's Karina Lee from Australia in the yellow cap. It looks like another yellow.
A yellow card. Who is this for?
Together, Mr. West getting them for Abdul.
Now this could be a major impact, especially if they get their second yellow card in that last 500, 600 meters.
There's the bell. This is the bell for the bell lap. And it looked like the Chinese girl, to me, was getting the yellow. Number 21. So they're not out of the pack. There's that yellow cap. The Australian Lee is in 4th or 5th place right now. Referee wants to stay up there. Beck now in the lead. That's, really pushing that pace coming into the bell lap. You hear that bell, you're going, yeah.
Okay, no one fed there.
Nobody.
At least not in the main pack or leading pack.
Pack is feeding. No way. They're coming around last loop, and Yeah, I think you're going to be right. They'll be under 2 hours, 8.6 kilometers done. They've got, about a 1,400 meter swim left, and they're going to do that under 17 minutes. So they should be just under the 2 hour mark.
Yeah. So if you're a coach right now, you're packing up your feeding stick. Where are you going? Are you staying there and watching the end of the race from the feeding
If they
station, or
stay there, you would stay there if that's the better vantage point.
got it?
The reality is, yeah, you just want to get where you can see it, but you also want to be there for your athlete as soon as she finish.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Now, yeah. Are there any, in the end of a water polo game where the coach dives in with the swimmers, is there anything similar to that in open water swimming?
Where the coach,
at the Olympic water polo final, whatever Serbia wins or Montenegro wins, and they all jump in the water and the coach is fully clothed. And is there anything similar to that in open water swimming?
But you bring up a great idea, Steve. I think if they had strength enough to throw their coach in, they might. But it's like, you just want to collapse at the end.
Right.
Not quite the same. There's Twitchell in the Australian. Breathing.
Oh, Australian is really moving. She has really moved up.
He is moving. And see, and I don't want to say sadly, but I mean, Ashley has led for so much of this race. She might just be, burnt, tapped out. It could be really, really tough. You see, Anna Marie, just very easy. Sharon and Beth. There's your lead threesome there. And then it's Australia and Ashley, 4 and 5.
8 girls. Yeah.
At the back end of that, it's the second American. She's in 7th place, and she wants to get on that podium. She's got to go now. And this long leg, see if somebody can make a difference. If you're in that back 2 or 3, and you want to be in the front 2 or 3 at the end, now's your chance, girls. You gotta go. So, and they're probably thinking in their mind, hey, listen, old man, I am going. What do you think I've been doing this whole time?
Yeah. Wow. Anna looks really good there.
Yeah, she's swimming so tall. She's not a tall person.
Yes. No.
She looks so long there. It's the last length. It's what she does.
And there's nobody that's going to get around her on a buoy turn. No, she is just, she holds her position extraordinarily well.
Yes, that's the challenge. But at least once they get around these next 2 buoys, then there's going to be a long straightaway to the finish.
Yeah. And what is that, about 500 meters, or is it like 300 meters?
Oh, 550, I think, 540.
550.
So,
okay.
It allows enough room so that if you've got one last kick in you, and the buoys sometimes just lead to shenanigans, or they actually just they alter the course, and that makes it different than if you're just swimming against each other straight up.
So they have 2 more turn buoys, 90-degree turns, and then a 550 sprint to the gold. 8 women. I believe there are 6 countries there. So there's 2 Americans, 2 Germans, I believe. And then you've got France, Brazil.
You said Germany. You said
Germany.
Yep.
And Australia.
Definitely.
So there's, it looks like a 3 wide here. Oh no, Anna, still enough. Then you got a 3 wide in the second tier. And then
right in the back.
Right there. Good. She's tucking in right in between.
And
Sharon Rowendahl, defending champion, to our far right.
And
interesting. Is that the Karina Lee decided to follow Anna Marcella, while the other girls decided to follow Sharon of the Netherlands.
Above, you can see, yeah, that on the outside, Anna Marcella is actually taking the one route, and
Yeah,
Sharon from the Netherlands and Beck, and then it looks like maybe both Americans are right
Yeah.
in that pack of four. So 2 packs of 4 coming into that directional buoy. Looks like, they're both going to come just inside of it. But that not 2 packs of 4, because I guess the other 2 are kind of, where am I
Right.
going? I'm not in that pack. Oh, look at this pack. It's like, oh,
yeah. It doesn't matter. They're all going to come together around the turn buoy anyway, for
absolutely.
sure.
Yep.
And it looks like Sharon decided, wait a second, I need to be closer to Anna Marcella
I'm thinking that
a bit.
she thought. And so she's pulling over there right now. And the German Beck is following suit.
You know what's interesting is Australian women did extremely well in the pool.
Oh, incredible meet. Yeah.
And I don't know, inspired by her fellow teammates.
Well, if they stopped the race now, Australia would be on the podium, but
Yeah.
we'll see. The excitement is building. It's here now. This is it. This is it. It's coming.
Standing up right now. The adrenaline is flowing.
Oh boy. So you have who many people thought was a favorite from Brazil,
Yeah.
Ana Kuna. Looks like she is definitely looking strong as they come around the last 10 minutes, last 8-10 minutes, they had 9 minutes, whatever's left.
Yeah.
Where you give it.
And to remind everybody, the time does not matter. What matters is who touches the finish pads, the touch pads first, second or third. That's it.
Correct. There are no world records. There's no, even they have course records at certain places. We say, oh, the English Channel record. Well, we all know every day is different. And in open water, it just, you can start a race on this same course an hour later and it's a different course. It just, everything changes. But you're right. It doesn't matter what your time is here. What matters is who gets.
I don't think Sharon has won a major race since the 2016 Rio Olympics.
I think you are correct there. Yeah, she's been around. It's not like she.
Yeah.
But boy, it'd be a nice time to pick that one up again for her. Wouldn't it? Like, yeah, it's been 5 years since I've won a race. Let me just win another one of these with the rings.
Yeah. Okay. This is the second to last buoy turn.
We turn into.
Oh, Anna had a beautiful turn. Beautiful turn.
Look at that.
If there was any equivalent, it's like the old Ryan Lochte turns when he really came off the wall.
I like it. I like that. Yeah, I think you're right. So
she picked up she put herself in a really nice position.
Ooh.
Okay, 650 meters to go. And there goes Australia, Karina Lee. If she can
yeah, their girls
equate what the pool swimmers did.
Girls have been hot.
Yeah.
A hot Aussie girl coming in at the finish. I would not bet against her, man. There have been some great champions through the years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The whistles are starting to blow.
9.49, 500 meters to go.
Okay.
And
Critical turn here.
Yes,
Very, very critical. A lot of pressure on the referees to get this right too.
definitely.
But Anna's just, if anybody's studying buoy turns, what Anna just did over the last two is textbook.
Right here.
Absolutely textbook.
Boom, boom. Okay. Sharon second, Becca's
Okay.
fourth.
She's got a body length lead right here, but she's not going to finish in the body length. The crowd is going to come.
And look what's happened. Ashley Twitchell has fallen out of the top 7. The one that just dropped back. The pace got great. She forced the pace, and you can see her back there at the back of the pack all by herself. She's the 8th swimmer in this race. God bless her. She had a great race, but not today. Not with that strategy in this heat. And, you know, Anna Kuna is looking so strong right now. If you put your money on her, you're feeling pretty good, but still another 3 or 4
So we've
minutes.
got,
So,
we've got Sharon Van Wondon, defending Olympic champion, to our far right. Then Anna Marcella, Karina Lee in the yellow cap from Australia is now. We've got a German, Leona, back in there. Haley Anderson is in the 3rd tier back.
I think, these are going to be your 3 medalists right here.
Yeah, you're right.
Netherlands and Brazil. It's just what order in my mind. You could see come back, but at this point, the speed these girls are swimming, you know, you're talking 200, 250 meters to go. No, maybe if somebody goes off course, or maybe if somebody gets, but it's going to be tough. And you can see there's Haley right there in the 5th position, trying to get up,
Right. But Anna Marcella looks really good.
Well, now we have a freeze. At least. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah. Scared me there.
I gotta see the finish.
Oh wow, this is great. I don't know. I think Anna's got to make a major navigational error here to lose this.
Yes, I would agree with that. It's her race to lose or win, and I'm sure she's had more practice winning than losing.
Yeah. Well, I know Brazilians are going to be dancing in the streets with this victory.
Oh yeah. If it comes to fruition, and it's minutes away here. 1:56. We are. All right.
Okay, who is it? Okay, so we have in 2nd and 3rd, we have Karina Lee and Sharon Van Roendal and the Australians are going crazy here.
Oh yeah.
Trying to.
Oh yeah.
And here comes, there's Haley in the back.
He's moved up maybe into the 4th position, maybe. There's still enough time, but you're right.
There is enough time.
It's like, are they going to get straight in? Is somebody going?
I don't know. They look like they're off center to me.
You know, if you look at their line, you're right. If you drew a straight line down the center of that pack, it probably would slightly miss the gate. But as long as they're all staying together, now look at Kelly Anderson. Now let's take a look, man. Just do something special here, because now remember, she's been hanging in there. It's crazy to watch, but who knows? Come on.
Discomfort. Oh, Anna just looks strong. She's looked strong throughout.
Oh, yeah.
Australian had great Olympics in the wall.
Yep.
And if 4th and 5th, they've got 150 meters to go.
No, I don't know. You know, it's like, it's such a tough place, the Olympic Games, to get a 4th. It's like, oh,
right.
You know, our friend Jorge from the group, he got fourth, fifth, broke the world record, but I got a little certificate. It's like, hey, dude, you're 200 fly, you broke the world record. Look at these girls, man. So strong, so strong. And Lee from Australia.
Yeah, they look. Is this a navigate? You know,
it's
if you're off by
I think they're not bad.
They're all off. They're all way off. They're not going down the center of the chute.
Yeah, but you don't have to go down the center if you're in the lead.
No. But you know,
yeah.
I would say that Sharon has a better line, but I don't think anybody's. No, they're within the chute, so there's no way Anna loses this.
No. But look at the rest of it. Oh,
yeah.
gosh, look, the bronze is still very much in doubt. Silver and bronze, very much between Sharon and Lee, fighting it out. And you see nothing but white water. Oh man, that is going to be our podium
Yes.
qualification.
Anna Marcella,
Yeah.
16 when she looks behind. That was it. Sharon Van Rondar second, Karina Lee third for bronze,
and then seventh and eighth.
Yeah.
American.
Anna Laws of Hungary.
Or 6 and
Fourth.
7.
Look at her. Is she going to start doing pull-ups or what?
6.
Good for her. Congratulations to everybody. What a great race.
Oh boy.
Great race.
Phenomenal. The effort all the way through.
Yeah.
Zinzin coming in now. Oh boy. You hate to see the effort of Ashley Twitchell all the way to it.
Yeah.
Finishing like that, but boy, those girls had a tremendous swim. So it unofficially, we said Kuna was pretty clear.
Yeah.
You know?
I think she got second here. This is Sharon Van Roendal.
Sharon definitely looked like she touched second, which I think she'd be very happy to take that silver. She had a big smile.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Have a race like that, you get on the podium again. And
now, what are the implications for the men's race tomorrow? Are we going to see somebody to try to replicate what Push and Pay so early?
Well, I mean, the success does not equal, right? I mean, if Ashley had won the race, maybe,
right.
You know, there she is. And she did, Ashley giving Anna a hug, like, yeah, you're welcome for that ride I gave you on 7 of
Right.
those, whatever, 5 of the 7.
Right.
And, but she knew the pack. She knew who she had to race. So here come the official results. 1:59:30.8 for Kuna. 1 hour, 59 and a half minutes was,
Wow.
was her finishing out in there. And China and France falling back to 8th and 9th, and a very happy young Brazilian lady.
I've never seen her cry in all the years that she's had victories. She's always smiling, and this is overwhelming to her. Again, didn't she actually had a spleen removed, if I recall, a few years ago, and she had major surgery. She lost several months out of the water, and to come back, incredible. Dutch, as usual, on the podium again.
I don't think we've ever had a major race without them.
Yeah.
Small country, but they got big hearts. And there's Ashley Twitchell on our screen.
Yes.
Anna, and boy, it was quite the day.
And she got a bronze, and she's calling mom or dad.
Oh yeah, right away. Gotta get them. I got the bronze. Yeah, we were watching. We were listening to Steve and Sid. We saw it.
Yes. Oh God, I'm so happy, she says, and for good reason.
Oh yeah. It's a beautiful thing. And you know, with everything this whole world's been through, Steve, it's
right.
So nice to see these athletes, these young people finally get their chance to shine. boy, and you know, it's tough. You know, no spectators is one thing, but boy, if there had been no games at all, oh,
Uh,
we remember.
yeah. So she's from Sao Paulo. She's really been, along with Poliana Okimoto, the face of Brazilian and South American open water swimming for a decade, over a decade. You know, it got fifth at the 2008, the inaugural marathon swim. 2016, she had hoped to be on the podium in her home country, and that wasn't to be. And she really took 5 years to reach this point. Her coach there, proud as can be, as we see the last few athletes coming in now.
I'm sure there's a few folks in Rio right now. Let's see what time of day it is. Getting into the evening hours there. They're probably quite a few establishments with her picture up, going
Yeah.
very well into the night.
Yes.
Oh, very exciting for all of these athletes. And yeah, I'll be interested to see what the water temperature is at the end of the race.
Yeah. What's interesting, we got Cecilia, she got 12th, only 30 seconds back, a 36-year-old mother. How about that?
It's incredible. I just got to thank you, Tech Steve, from Erica Rose. Thank you and Steve for making this so enjoyable to watch.
Oh, Erica, great. I mean, she won a world championship.
Ever, yeah, I remember. Oh, I think she still holds up the around the island in New York record. And there's Anna Marie. Yeah, it's a great one. I'm glad that Wowza and you had the ability to pull this off, and a lot certainly thanks to Tina and of course Quinn Fitzgerald for behind the scenes. He's putting up all these great pictures. There's Miss Lee talking to mom. Yeah, I got the bronze.
Yeah. 27 years old, I believe. So, you know, winning a bronze medal at 27. What a great way to end your career. Now, I'm assuming she's ending her career that, you know, after this.
Who knows? I'm telling you, there's some big races coming up. There's some big money going to be coming up very soon. FINA wants to do right by the athletes. This, you know, we have a new executive director. He's from the USA, Brent Nowicki. I spoke to him and Dale Newberger yesterday. There's some exciting things coming up. Very soon in open water, we'll be able to announce some new races, some big prize money races, and seeing young people like these 25 ladies just give it their all in a course like this. It's just super challenging. There's Anna Marie.
Right. I just have to hand it there. A very clean race, you know. Everybody was a true sportsman out there, or sportswoman. Refereeing was exemplary. Course layout was great. Everything was clearly laid out. There's touching the finished pontoon there.
South Africa.
Feeding station was right on the line. You know, that evidently the water quality was fine. The heat obviously didn't get to anybody. I mean, we're looking at the live feed here. I mean, nobody seems like they need any kind of medical assistance, which is great to see.
I'm very happy to see that. I'm trusting that's from great preparation from these professional ladies and their coaches, that, you know, you have to get used to it, and you have to find a way to. I read Wellbrook's quote today. He spent a lot of time in the hot tub. One of the
really
favorites. He said, "Yeah," he said, "I've been spending a lot of time in the hot tub." And why not? If the water's going to be 88, put your hot tub on 88. Go out there and read a book.
Right. Right. So Sid, now tell me what happens post race. So the referees, they look and confirm. The head referee gets off the boat, confirms with the assistant referees. They look at and confirm. They sign off on the official results. Is that correct?
very first thing the head referee does after he witnesses the finish is he heads into the Omega timing tent or the timing house, wherever it is. And he will look over any close finishes, and he'll actually ask the operators to run down the top 8 and make sure that, okay, how do you guys see it? And then usually the Omega guys are so professional, they'll be ready. They'll be expecting the head referee. And when he comes in, they'll say, you need to look at 3, 4, 5. We had a photo finish. We got to look. And then as soon as he signs it, once in a meet like this, once the first 3 are in, he can sign it so that NBC and all the major media outlets in the world can say, okay, it's over. Here's the official results. So you try and do that as quickly as possible. But it also is a reality that it doesn't, there may be a 17th and 18th discrepancy that you want to make sure you get right. So you would go back and re-sign the overall results after you do the quick ones for the media.
Got it. And I think this is our last swimmer coming in. She's just rounding the last turn buoy. So she's got another 500 or so meters to go.
Yep.
And it's the young lady from Algeria. And she'll be the 25th out of 25 athletes coming in. And as soon as she gets in, the referee signs off. And then what happens, Sid? They hand it to some IOC official, or how do you get from this point to the award, the national anthem being played on the awards podium?
Well, there is an awards committee. There's actually a group of people that do protocol for the awards at the Olympics, and they go around to every event, and they'll already have targeted, who's going to present the awards and who's, and then there's the drug testing people, so that they'll be there, and they can do the awards even before if they have to, but they generally try to get that done. They for media purposes, they love to get the podium done as quickly as possible. So those people from protocol, from the IOC awards protocol, will already be telling you, and they make it very clear you have to wear your dress uniform, this, that, everything that falls into place to get on the podium. But at this point, for Anna Marie, it's just 5 long years, because you're right. Brazil was it was great that was her 4th or 3rd Olympics, right? This is her 4th now.
Right.
We've only had four in open water. And for her to have that much pressure on herself, I know at Rio, how much it crushed her not to be up there, to be able to give back to her country, to give back to her fans, for Brazil to be back on top at the Olympic Games with a #1 gold medal is phenomenal.
Especially having a spleen removed and really being out of it for so many months, and to come back from that, and then COVID hits, especially in her country of Brazil, where it really hit badly, having to move for over a year to Portugal, away from her family, away from her comfort zone, not having competition. This woman is the epitome of a comeback story.
Yep, no doubt. And look at the odds. I mean, she doesn't look like a swimmer. She's not long and lanky and tall and got the arm for the touch. I mean, she's like a pocket battleship, which is what they used to call Mike Burton. I think Sherm Shavor termed that pocket battleship, because she's small, she's tough, and she's just refuses to quit, and just phenomenal.
This is great. I'm very happy for her. Obviously, the Americans finished out of medal contention, but they went down swinging.
They went down. Right. And that's what we said about Ashley Twitchell, especially getting out and pushing it. And with a couple 100 meters to go, I thought Haley was right there, trying to make a move. But those ladies have done so much for marathon swimming and open water in general, for our country, for North America. You certainly cannot fault them. They're phenomenal athletes, and even even better people. So
Yeah.
I know they're both planning to retire after this one. And sure, we would have loved to seen them up on the podium for selfish reasons, being
Yeah.
the Americans. But this is a world event, and you could see Ashley giving a hug to Anna Marie. And the reality is that those girls were able to take part in this, and to see marathon swimming in the Olympic Games. And guys who grew up in our generation, Steve, we never had that opportunity.
Right.
And to see all these young people have this now, it's just, it warms my heart. You can see the Olympic rings out there now in our view. We still have the live feed. And boy, what a day. What a great day there. At
Yeah.
the open water.
And, you know, all of the volunteers, and again, the people on the FINA Technical Open Water Swimming Committee, they're essentially the race organizers here. They work hand in hand with all of the Japanese volunteers. And I think that's what makes our sport so great. So many people devoting so many hours, time, passion into this sport. It makes it what it is.
It is. It is. That's why we consider it the greatest swimming race of them all.
Yeah.
I love it. And Algeria coming to the finish.
Yeah.
25 entered and 25 will finish.
Correct.
About 15 and a half minutes back at this point. So, you know, certainly no shame in that when you're going against the very best in the world.
Yeah. And, you know, I can imagine, I mean, you know, I know the American women, they've got the very best of coaching, you know, nutritionists, dryland training, experts. And I would guess that, you know, the young lady from Algeria doesn't have those advantages. And
things that FINA really wants to address here in this new generation of governance. I know that our president, Hussein, is very interested in trying to, he knows you'll never have a totally equal playing field, that people with resources are going to have advantages. But he's building a pool, right? FINA's building a pool in Africa. They're talking about other countries that need help, need assistance, sending people, trying to get a lot of assistance out there where it's needed most. So I'm very encouraged that this new wave of FINA leadership is going to be very positive for us all worldwide, big countries, small countries alike.
Great, great. So now we've got the men's race tomorrow, same time, as we used to say, same bat time, same bat place. What are some takeaways that the men's coaches and the male athletes will look at this race?
I think they're going to talk, you know, more about just being aware of that extreme heat, because by temperatures, they're saying tomorrow is supposed to be a little bit warmer than today.
Okay.
And I like to see there's Bill Ford. They're all clapping. You got the final finisher coming in. I think that the men have their plan. I don't think they saw anything today that's going to change their plan. I don't think any one male is going to go, oh, wow, I want to do that because of what I saw. I really think that there might be some fine points they might tune up, but I believe it's going to still be, this is my race plan. I respect Ashley Twitchell. That was her race plan. Obviously, it was something she and John Payne came up with, said, why not? We said, if you're going to go down, let's go down swinging. And she's the one that pushed that pace and made that such a great race today. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. 25 out of 25 finished, all representing their country very well. Venezuela, South Africa, Ukraine, Singapore, Algeria, and the winner from Brazil, Ana Marcela Cunha. So thank you, Sid. You know, you're one of a kind. Your expertise, your knowledge, your passion has been really well appreciated by everybody. And there you are. They listed the official results.
Silver medal was 9/10 behind, bronze 1.7.
Oh.
So that's, that's where we were. And
Yeah.
everybody else, you 4 or 5, 6 seconds is all it takes to be off that podium and be in 5th, 6th place. And yet, that's the beauty of the sport too. And Steve, I really appreciate you and Wowza and Quinn and Tina and everything that you all have done to make this available to so many. And it's so much fun. Let's do it again tomorrow.
All right. It's 2:30 tomorrow. And
Okay. 30 in California,
signing off.
5:30 in
Yeah, in East Coast. Sorry. I'm
Well,
California focused.
if you're in Europe, figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. It was great. Signing off.